then the intro is going to start. I slid into the studio metal breaks tonight, baby.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about fire. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm the void walker.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Oh, broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live here, well, on the Lighting the Void YouTube channel. It is Wednesday, Waterbed Day. I heard someone call it Waterbed Day. June the 25th, 2025. It's Cosmic Conditions. We've been putting this down for years. It is the heart of commitment to you guys that keeps this going. I don't think I've ever, I'll be honest with you, notorious Aries, by the way, known for starting fires and letting other people put them out. I don't think that I've ever done anything this long in my entire life. But it's worth it because Mary Ducina is here with us. Mary Ducina, MaryDucina.com. I hope some of you guys got a reading. And I'm kind of stoked about tonight's show. I think it's important. Cancer is one of my favorite signs, by the way. And somewhere in your chart lies that Cancer energy. And we're going to let Mary, I almost said Aries, Mary,
okay.
Take it in.
There's a lot of Aries stuff going on, honey. There's a lot of stuff going on in Aries.
How you doing, Mary?
I'm good. Thank you for that compliment. You know, in today's society of tick, 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 I want it now, yesterday, why didn't it happen, for someone to actually, in and as the new moon, the sun and the moon are hugging each other, and the water element, moon child, Cancer, the ocean's crab, whenever we acknowledge something that is not just a moment, but it's now a memory. You know, when you think about, as of Joe's right, as of this summer, as of the summer solstice going into July, Joe and I have been doing this 6 years together. Mm-hmm. And so it's an energy dance that we originally clicked, and we originally wanted that heart rise for people that might choose to never call or enter the chat or hope that something that they were too meek to ask or speak about would be brought up as a question or a concept by Joe, myself, or an audience caller, or the way we go through the 12 tools of the celestial toolbox, you know, the 12 zodiac signs. So now we're at sign number 4. And so when we pause like Joe just did, when we pause and we take that ride of appreciation and gratitude, I absolutely believe it's not just a cute little saying. Gratitude is a very powerful attitude. The attitude of gratitude, to me, is a door unlock. It's a great key for manifestation. So when someone sees you, when someone gets the momentum and the energy set into motion, aka emotions, that can happen when you're listening to a teacher, you're enlivened by that book, you know, someone that you're orbiting around really sees you and gets you and just lets you let your hair down. And the people that may not have been our easy moments, aka family, our family of origin and our relatives, when you get to a certain point in life, at whatever age, and you realize that that guy or that girl, that person that impressed you, that the way they looked at something, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's tribe. That's tribe. You know, that's like we may not have come from the same family of origin or even the same culture or philosophical patterns and beliefs, but it's like in the movie Avatar. It's when the blue lady says, "I see you, I get you," you know, when they're coming into the world tree. And in that first movie, one of the, I forget if he's a scientist, it's been a while, but in the 3D reality of what we know, he's crippled. He's paralyzed or crippled. Something happened to him. When he goes over into the Avatar, the blue world, when he goes over there, he's completely functional. His legs work. He can run. He can feel, you know, the actual parts of our body that we all could be more grateful for, that we still have, that still function. And because anybody that I've ever talked to that had a military battlefield accident, hunting accident, car accident, and some appendage was either paralyzed or taken, it is amazing to hear them testify, bear witness to what they now pay attention to, that they didn't feel like, not that they're blaming themselves or shaming themselves, that, boy, do I realize now, after riding a motorcycle of 40 years and having an accident, boy, did I realize how what I was grumbling about in my life was so, so minor when I walked away from that car crash and that fire. So it's the part of it sometimes, not as a punishing God or bad karma, but sometimes, and especially when we get to the fourth sign of the year, when we get to Moonchild, Cancer the ocean crab, it's the mystery of the ocean. It's the high tides and the low tides. It can be undertows. It can be craggy rocks. It can be both the magic of an incredible night under the stars on a cruise or in someone's boat or your boat, you know, being out there at a full moon on the water. It can have everything to do with the sound of the ocean, but it's got to do with the depth. It's when we get to the fourth sign and the natural turning of the wheel, Aries starts the year, Taurus teaches us about what we deem that holds value or that is precious, and we need to prep it and store it and prioritize it and pay homage to how we stay ahead by consistently replenishing, especially when it's at that good deal. Taurus knows all about that. Then we get to the third sign of Gemini, what we give voice to. It's how we blend. Gemini season was so profound to me psychically this year because I really made a connection that we all logically know, but it hit me in a whole different kind of way about the Creator animating this earth temple, this earth body, and animating it with the life breath, the breath of life. And so blended with the Creator, ignited by the Creator, the breath of life that was given us. And so we breathe. We're asleep sometimes. We're in the shower sometimes. We breathe. We're running. We're aware of our breath. We're aware when we're breathing, when we're scared, and we're aware of how we breathe when we're embroiled in passion or anger. So the breath, when you put words to it, Gemini's the voice. It's the ingenuity. It's the innovative idea, the ideal, the sell it, the market it, to come up with all kinds of ways to get the word out there, to communicate, but spiritually. When you give air, Gemini's an air sign, when you give the movement of air with your breath of life to words, and you do the sound percussions of your body through the throat chakra with the larynx, and you actually put sound, even if it's a whisper, to certain words with intention. It's the air that you wear. It's what you're sending up from below to above, what you're beginning to hear and receive as above, so below. But you're giving life to it, your signature breath, your signature life. So I became very aware of the word being your wand, like a magic wand. And when we came to solstice, over here where I'm at in the Eastern time zone in the mountains, Smoky Mountains, when we came to summer solstice this year on June 20th, the energy of the yin and the eternal womb, the earth mother, the power of inception and creation and seed entering the egg that will soon form, the first womb of even though Cancer is the salt waters, the life and death waters of Mother Ocean, the ocean on Mother Earth, it has a lot to do with the element of how we flow or we feel dammed up or blocked within ourselves. So this new moon, where the sun and the moon turn and join forces as one, the marriage moon, the sun and moon are married or in complete harmony when we have a new moon each month. In the water, yin, mothering, nurturing sign, ancient ancestral cultural dynamics of Cancer. It's where we come home. Our heart is our home. What are we directing our feelings toward? Where do we feel like that this is a time in 2025 to give inventory to some belief patterns? And we'll say more about that in a minute. Jupiter rules our philosophical choice of beliefs. Jupiter just went into the sign of Cancer. And so we have this bloom of the most expansive planet, Jupiter, which is the planet that naturally rules the sign of Sagittarius, but it's exalted, it's in a real high place, it's happy and functioning and prosperous when it enters the sign of Cancer. It's not been there since 2013. And it's over a decade that we've had this alignment, the fancy Arabic word kazimi, or when a planet crosses and joins with the face of our great star of the sun. So we have the moon, the mother, the eternal mother, the divine nurturer within us, the person of compassion, the person that knows how to accept miracles of healing as a student and a teacher. So the compassion moment, the Madonna, Kuan Yin, the Chariot, and a regular tarot deck, the Ace of Cups. When we come to last night, the feast of John the Baptist Day. So when we get the 24th and the 25th is the feast and the celebration of St. John the Baptist. So it's water, it's resurrection, it's alchemy, it's literally our tears and our fears and being able to release toxic thoughts, release toxic chemicals through when we tear up and we cry. How we eliminate water from the body and how we can get dehydrated if we don't have enough fluids into this magnificent creation as we walk this world for a while. So this has a lot to do with Grandmother Moon and the First Nations culture. So we have the time of the year, 2025, where the moon, Grandmother Moon, even though we've got lots of planets dancing around in the sign of Cancer right now, because it's seasonal and it's solstice. And in the northern hemisphere, it's the heat, it's the growing season. On the medicine wheel at summer solstice, we enter south, which is the direction of the inner child, which is intriguing to me. Also astrologically with Cancer having to do with the nurturing mother, the pregnant woman, the woman who longs to have a child and hasn't been able to conceive yet. So it's immaculate conceptions. It's the conceiving of a purpose that's fueled by a passion. And this year, the other thing that's different as well is that we have Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries. So we've got a little bit of a 90-degree square off with this. So Aries, it isn't just when slower-moving planets like Saturn and Neptune move into Aries or another sign that it's a big deal. It is, because, for example, with Saturn, it takes about 28 to 30 years to go through all 12 zodiac signs. But when a planet comes back to sign number one, when a planet, no matter how fast it moves, we don't notice it as much with the moon, but when something changes signs into Aries, the ram, it has completed an evolutionary journey. So Saturn, except for certain retrogrades and things, moved into the sign of Aries at very early degrees. Neptune moved into the sign of Aries. So we have a whole revolution of consciousness going on. When we get to July 7th, Uranus is going to move into the sign of Gemini. It takes 84 years to go through all those signs. And the last three times, the United States is born with Uranus and Gemini. The last three times that we had Uranus in the sign of Gemini, well, the last most recent time was World War II. Let's call that an external strife with lots of patriotism and Russia, and whatever was all involved with that, Hitler and the whole thing to do with that, the cultural and religious conflicts. Before that was the Civil War. So that was internal strife and ideas and conjectures and battle plans and strategies and the intrigue. And then before that was the Revolutionary War. So Uranus in Gemini is where we take the idea, and over the next 7 years, whether you agree or not agree with AI or Chat GPT or all these kind of different things, or you find out instead of Google you're hitting Grok or whatever it is, there's going to be with these Aries planets that have to do with this is what I will defend, this is what I will take offense to, and this will work. That's them's fighting words. It's trial by fire. It's like, okay, now you've got my full attention. I will stand firm for what I believe as well, and the homeland. So the Cancerian thing with Jupiter and Cancer, you're going to see it's a time, it's a cycle. This opens up a 12-year cycle of Jupiter. It's been that 12 years since 2013, thereabouts, that it's been in the sign of Cancer. It's happy in the sign of Cancer. So it's how happy are we collectively, individually, with where we're calling where I stay, home. Where do I feel more at home? With what types of persons and personalities do I feel I can be myself? I feel seen, and they get me, but it's not just about me. I also want to have that reciprocal, that reciprocity with that other person. Their feelings matter too. With Aries, we have to watch that we don't make it all about me.
It's where you can be authentic and connect the best, the easiest.
Well said.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Look at the words you used. Listen to the words you used. Aries begins with an A. It's where you can be authentic, authentic, be authentic. Aries is the I am. And then you said, what was the other word you used to be able to connect? So Cancer, the crab.
Yeah.
The crab, there's the C. The crab walks backwards and sideways. So where we've been kind of taken a sideways view, not only is Cancer the fourth sign of the natural zodiac, Aries starts it, Pisces completes it as the 12th sign. Aries is number 4 in the precession. And so the cardinal signs open up portals and seasons. Aries opens, I'm talking Northern Hemisphere, Aries opens up spring, Cancer opens up summer solstice, Libra opens up the autumnal equinox, and then we get to winter solstice, Yuletide, and that's Capricorn. So the cardinal signs, Aries and its balanced polarity opposite Libra, Cancer and its opposite Capricorn. At this time we have both the patriarchal and the matriarchal aspects. It's a time for seed intentions around creating a safer, secure, more supportive world first within yourself, and then how it's happening all around you. So it's like how dolphins can be playful and yet chase off sharks in the ocean. So Sirius is going to be exact with the sun in Cancer on July 5th. In the Greek myths, Cancer was represented by when Hercules, the 12 labors of Hercules, which, yes, tie into a mythological thing with the 12 zodiac signs. Hercules was fighting the multi-headed Hydra. And so the crab came and bit him on the foot, and then Hercules slayed the crab, and then Andromeda or somebody came along and gave it a righteous place in the sky. So it's one of the minor or the dimmest or darkest constellation because Cancer works well in stealth mode. So where we have a 90-degree square right now is Saturn, which is really like the emperor and the father figure, and Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. So we've got Saturn in the very impulsive, inventor side of Aries, but it kind of fights with that Cancerian tendency to want to hold on to tradition, and my daddy did it this way, and my mom didn't do it this way, and I didn't have a daddy, so I'm going to look for a father figure in a relationship for my kids or for myself. So these dynamics of where we in our emotional theater that we feel like we have great pluses or great strengths is the story that we like to bring to intimacy in a relationship. And I feel, and Joe and I talked about this, that one of the differences of the 2025 Cancerian moon-ruled new moon is with this Aries stuff. It's about our desires. It's about our passion. It's about our outreach of what we'd like to manifest that's leveled up, healthier for them, healthier for us to do with a one-on-one, a SO, a significant other, a partnership that we feel when we get together with that helps propel us in a dual strength, united as one front. So Saturn is strong in the sign of Capricorn or Libra. It's not strong and the sign of Aries. It teaches us where we might be immature, or we're carrying on some anger patterns or some sexual addictions that really don't need to come into a more evolved or an evolutionary type of relationship, intimacy, and partnership. So Joe and I were talking about, since it's the season of our gut intuition and our inner child merging with our adult self, that it might be interesting to the audience for us to get your intake throughout the show on what you've been seeing at the crossroads of your life, whether you're single or divorced or broke up, or I'm not going to get, legally tied to anybody anymore, in whatever age, 10-year age group that you're in. What are you seeing different as like really positive, and the pendulum swinging more of a psychological and spiritual and healthy way instead of just the new age fluff and woo-woo? And I never get angry, and they present one front to the world and another front behind the scenes, and you hear that from their partners and their kids. But what is it, as he said, Joe said, authentically, that you feel, that you've seen thus far in your life, that's a very healthy, valuable skill set and determination to prioritize in a one-on-one type of commitment in your life? I don't think we need to get caught up in labels. I just think that it's what makes me, I'll use an old-fashioned English word, what makes me cleave to that other, what makes me want to bond my energies and my life force and my strength with those qualities. And that it's not about looks, people. It's about with cancer, it's about where do I feel that this is a safe harbor. This is, as life storms come, and they will, high tide, low tide, tides in, tides out. When life storms come, regardless of what my fantasies are, this is my anchor. This is my rock. I don't have to put my Cancer the crab pinchers out there, nor keep avoiding it, going sideways, back and forth, looking at it, but really not making a commitment because you're afraid of confrontation, or going backwards, going, no, la, 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 la. I don't want to deal with it yet.
Yeah.
So
make sure, you guys put your stuff in chat, too, because I'm having issues with the phone lines tonight. But I will read your comments to Mary in chat, so I'm working on that on the side, though, so you never know. We might get them back up. But, yeah, I mean, friends, all kinds of relationships, friends, and, like right now I'm in a stage in my life where I'm just, trying to focus on the right friends and family. But it could be anything. And I think, I honestly believe, Mary, I don't know about you, but I don't think culture is your friend. I don't.
Right.
I don't think when it comes to you being who you really are, all the stuff that you're comparing yourself to while you're doom scrolling on the internet, and you got all these people that are being idolized, telling you who to be and how to live and what a man is, what a woman is, and all this other stuff is just going to torture you in the heart. You're the one that decides that. Nobody else does. Nothing else does. Nobody. And so it's about values too, like you said.
It is. So if you picked a certain religious belief system, if you picked a certain cultural commitment, like in my family line, there's indigenous, there's the Cherokee. But when I, in my late teens and 20s, when I stumbled into it, way to go, guides, stumbled in to start really blending the medicine wheel teachings, and I always was akin to Mother Nature and the animals. I did have both a very good telepathic discernment with wild animals, and I just thought everybody had that. So the indigenous cultures, not every single First Nations tribe, I'm very much in tune with the ones that love the land and respect the mountains, and like some campers will say, come on people, whatever you take in, take back out. Stop dumping it in Mother Nature, your trash and your campfires and things like that. I mean, in this area, we've had Yogi the Bear for a long time telling us to be responsible, but only you can prevent forest fires. So we have the bear totem in this side of the United States, and, we have to be aware of respecting the mountains, the native peoples. The first time I heard in the native teachings that the oceans were the womb waters of the Earth Mother, and the first time I heard that the mountains were the breast, and that when we go to the mountains, we receive a different kind of feeding and nourishment. And when we are at the ocean side and we feel like this is exactly where I need to be, it's so healing for my spirit, and my mind is not riddled with anxiety or possibilities of what if this and what if that. And the ocean was where we were reborn again, the baptism, the the resurrection, the washing ourselves clean, walking on water, letting it go, literally feeling the salt water, the salt of life, take it away from us. And we go in willingly and receive that baptism. So the mountains are about when we climb up to get a bigger, higher view, and we're immersed with different kinds of creatures and the antennas called the tree people that reach up. You know, they're rooted in Mother Earth, and their branches and their limbs reach up to the light of Father Sky, you know, Great Spirit. Those things resonated with me, the 8 precepts of Buddhism. Certainly I wasn't raised a Buddhist in, you know, the Eastern Smoky Mountains. No, it was all Baptist or Protestant, and a long time ago they kind of raised an eyebrow on anybody that was even Catholic, much less something else more multicultural. But they still, although they weren't treated well in this area, there was still a clash in this area and a history and an ancestral story about how the Indians were run out along the Trail of Tears. So there's stories and residuals and references that help us choose which part of our ancestral culture that is a plus or that strengthens us, and that we can abide by those kind of, we're going to have beliefs and patterns about something. And the Cancerian energy, the moon, says to us, you're allowed to have feelings and moods, and you can grow, and absolutely throughout your whole life you'll be a student and a teacher, but this Cancerian, both, and this Cancerian moon is saying, and what soothes your furrowed brow? And where can you just put your head on someone else's shoulder, or the animal does that to you? And where does nature call you right now? Is it the starlight? Is it the lake? Is it the creek? What is it? Is it a waterfall? I went to a waterfall yesterday that was closed down for a while after that Hurricane Helene hit up here, and that reopened it up, and it was just, everybody was just standing in awe of this buck-balled waterfall that opened up after, you know, a harsh hit in Tennessee and western North Carolina, that storm that happened in September. This new moon ties with the full moon that we'll have, that will come up when we get to Capricorn, when we get to after winter solstice, the full moon that happens between December 20th, December 21st, and before January 20th, 21st of 2026. That full moon will be lighting up. It'll be the strongest full moon of this year. This is the strongest new moon of this year. And I found some interesting things. It's happening at 4 degrees of Cancer the Crab. It's the 4th sign of the zodiac. When you add up the day it's happening, it happened this morning, 6:25, that adds up to 31 and adds to a 4. So a 4 is a square, a geometric square. Most houses and buildings have either a rectangle or a square with those looking at things from all 4 sides. There's 4 main points on the medicine wheel that occur every year, and the 4 is almost like a divining rod. You know, it's our ability to be grounded and to be able to see all around a room and look at it from different angles. And so the 4 has a lot to do with homeward bound. Why do we strive to, what are we building toward? You know, Cancer and Taurus are all about what is it that makes me feel like I can hang my hat up on the hook and my coat, and when I'm home, I'm home. And whether that's popcorn or whether that's a bath or whether that's just I don't want to do nothing but just sit and chill out to a movie, that's that value, the value of being able to say, I don't want to have to overthink. I don't want to have to do the wish list. I don't want to have to do anything. I just need what? Me time. That's what this cycle is. What's me time for you, and what may be kind of emotional therapy that would involve water, fasting or water or smoothies or some kind of a watermelon season, getting these cucumbers, these hydration fruits and vegetables into your system. Mars is in Virgo right now. It went in there on the 17th, so Mars in Virgo gets along with all this Cancerian energy that's going on, the Jupiter and the sun and moon in the sign of Cancer. The earth and the water signs fare very well, and I made a list of some of the things we'll talk about. It's happy birthday season for people that are born in the sign of Cancer, the crab, ruled by the moon, governed by the softness, the dreams, the intuition, our emotional resonance, our ability to be that divining rod ourselves, like what energies feel good in a place or with the person, and what just they can be smiling at us and something feels off. So it's our intuition. It's strongest. this time of the year. And Mars traveling in the Earth sign of Virgo is giving us the analytical capacity to organize it, to clear it out, to get on with it. Well, we've got the Cancerian intuition. Our dreams can be detail specific with Mars and Virgo hitting all these Cancerian placements. And we have another planet that's getting ready to shift, a big one, another big one, the one we talked about with the World War II and the Civil War and Revolutionary War. Uranus is going to go into Gemini around July 7th. On July 4th, we're going to have Venus pop and change signs. She's going to do her thing this week. So this whole time that we're coming in before the full moon that comes up in Cancer's opposite sign of Capricorn, when we get to the 7th to the 9th of July, as we're coming from right now, the new moon that plants the seeds, and we are all initiates right now. We're being initiated through our feelings, and we are magicians and initiators right now. What do we want to start? What do we want to initiate that we know would be nurturing, involved with self-care, and maybe there's some outdated beliefs, thoughts, criticisms, sarcasms, and opinions, Gemini, what we were giving our voice to. With Cancerian, we go back to our cultural or ancestral pluses, and if that's the Bible, if that's Buddhism, if that's Hinduism, if that's meditation, if that's getting really prioritizing your dreams and your messages from your dreams more, baths instead of just the quick shower, or both, and being able to journal. All of this, Cancer slows it down and says, let's look at it deeper and let's look at it again. We get active when we get to the new moon in Leo that's coming up on July 24th. So we'll get more into the fire and the air signs as we get later on in July, but right now is the pause. 6 months into this year, it's the pause to say, what have you learned? What feels better? What do you feel like you've course corrected? How are you taking care of you instead of always, throwing your problems out there and wanting to get help and assistance and support from everybody else? How are you also being able to return that in kind? So it's kind of like let's pause and take a look at if we're being blessed and where we're being blessed, how might we pay it forward? We've talked about that, random acts of kindness and paying it forward. And the goofy country examples I like to give to that, too. I mean, there's always funny stories in the South, Joe, and I know that, about how you encounter these people that are really rooted in a real Southern, charming, creative kind of way. The people that understand mountain talk, just like people understand Brooklyn, and people might understand the difference between New Jersey and New York. When you have these these Southern sayings, and believe me, Southerners and mountain people tend to try to get it down into one word, one noise, or two words if they can.
It's easier. It's easier that way.
Yeah, it's when they want to course correct. I was laughing with a person that was raised in Kentucky and another one that was raised, in West Virginia. And I said, when you were a kid, did you ever have any one of your relatives, you were having fun, it's the church picnic, or everybody's got all the food on the table, and it's that spring or summertime or whatever, and you're running around just starting to be the horse's ass kind of little kid, preteen or just coming into teenage, and one of those Southern relatives looked at you and said, like they caught you taking it over the edge, and all they said was two words: you'll think. Boom. I course corrected right then. Right then it was like, oh boy, that's the country Southern thing of like, yeah, keep on. Oh yeah, that was another one. Keep on at it. Keep on. You'll think. I mean, that was it. I knew it was only going to get worse from there, and then I better put myself in check. Well, how do I know that? Because I went beyond that boundary. So boundaries don't have to be, these emotional boundaries and our emotional and psychological well-being don't always have to be really laborious conversations. Sit down, honey, I got to talk to you. This is, it doesn't have to be that.
A lot of it's like the golden rule stuff, man.
Absolutely.
It's self-evident. It's simple, I mean, I feel like we, thank God that the animals have it better than we do right now.
Absolutely.
They just do. Like, they connect better. They love better. You don't, you ever notice how animals, they're pretty self-centered, but we don't spend our time on the internet calling them narcissists, and yet we love them.
Right.
We still love them regardless, because we
don't
love
judge
them.
our life by the bank accounts. Yeah, the animals are like, had some seeds today. Oh, that crazy-ass Mary over there, that mountain mystic, she takes care of us all the time. Yeah, she threw us flour tortillas and black old sunflower seeds. We're good over there. Come to that side of the mountain because we got somebody that cares about you. It's just But what is, that's an act of nurturing. That's a part of the cultural thing I appreciate with the First Nations people, respecting Mother Earth, or the Celtic. I like that too. I like the Scottish and the Celtic and the Fey Kingdom and the Farmer's Almanac celebrations of the seasons, and the Roman and the Greek mythological things helped me so much to get through all the energy that takes place with astrology. Learning the legends and the lores of each one of the signs, what's in the constellations, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's a warrior and strategist for the battlefield, and you just have to get up off your arse with Aries and take an action. You're not going to probably find an Aries want to finish it all up that same week or that same month, but they know how to light the fire. It's a process. When you light a fire, everything might not happen in the next hour. You may have a grill, you might have stories that go on around the ceremony or the altar or the campfire all night long. The fire is the element that's the teacher. With that initiation sign, Aries begins it, got to light the fire. Then the stories will come. People will relax. The Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the campfires, the memories, when the weather was warm, and the fires that keep the mosquitoes and the bugs away, the fires that light the darkness. The stars are that fire for us in the heaven. It's the element of the heaven's fire. Like some people think it's just lightning. The sun is our great star. The stars speak stronger when we have a new moon. There's no moon to distract us. The stars have a lot to say. You can look on Wikipedia about what are the constellations and the animal totem signs and the sign of Cancer, and you'll see the links, and you'll see Hydra, and it ties back to all these different cultures. But I think when we get to the sign of Cancer, it's when we think about our favorite uncle, our grandparents. In the South we call it Mama, Papa in my world. So they were very instrumental in my life to put me on the path of respect and honoring the earth and honoring God. So I'm happy with that part of my ancestral culture. I'm happy with that. But did I also have weirdos and nut jobs and all that when you get into the cousins and the uncles? Yeah. And it's your inner child. It's that Cancerian party that makes that noise when a little baby likes you or they don't. And it's particular to that day sometimes, or the animal just all of a sudden doesn't want you to pet it. It's instinctual. It's an energy thing. It's an energy equation. So how we benefit for the next 30 days, and especially for the next 2 weeks, is there anything in our emotional, intimate feeling closet that even if we've just been a parrot and said it to ourselves, I don't want this anymore in a relationship. I'm not going to allow that anymore in a relationship. I'm done with relationships. I'm just going to be single and have a good time. Yeah. So, I still believe in love, but I've been trying to move it around and do this, but now I know my boundaries, but now I'm going to call upon the angels of romance and the angels of a sweet spot of destiny and fate. I allow a date with destiny as I do my intentions, and I plant my star seeds of that I will show up as a person of, as Joe said, I will show up as an authentic person. I will connect with my authenticity, and that is an intimacy that if both people do that, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. If you're both authentic, you might not get your way. It might not be everything that you thought it was going to be with your fantasies, but you've got a person looking at you saying, I like this about you. We're good here. We're real good here. I like this. But this kind of makes me get my feathers a little ruffled, or I apologize for my feathers getting ruffled over something that probably might not bother you at all. You just kind of get past that and say, don't always assume it's you that I'm getting angry with or that I'm getting frustrated with. It might not be you. It might be that I'm so compatible with hanging out with you that I could be myself and vent with you, and that will sometimes bond you even closer. It's just a dynamic of...
Not every bond has to be a trauma bond.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though all the romance novels and the movies and everything that you watch, it's all the toxic and trauma stuff that bonds people. But
and I put that in the woo-woo closet too, because it can be sensational.
We're here to bring, whether you believe it or not, I believe this with my whole heart. We're here as billions of people, as consciousness is trying to bring heaven to earth. That's what it's trying to do.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do. And if all we can do is unconditionally love our animals, which, they're here to teach us that, and not each other, we still got a lot to learn. A lot. We're supposed to be as a child, the heart of the child. That's the Cancer heart.
It is, and our first, it's our shelter. You know, where do we feel we can recline? Where do we feel we can retreat? Where does it feel it's not a bad thing to retreat sometimes? What's your shell? What's your harbor? What's your comfort? What's your comfort food? It's that. It's the quilt. It's the blanket. It's the teddy bear for the kid. And I got to say, for a lot of people, that teddy bear evolved into being addicted to our cell phones. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more animosity online towards each other than I've ever seen. Everybody's teaching each other nowadays. We're teaching each other, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. And all that stuff is a given. It's just a given. Like when you go home, when you go to your home, you know the difference. Like when you're around people that make you feel like home, you know the difference between that and what else you've dealt with. I don't know why you got to keep telling yourself all these things. I mean, you deserve.
That's a good point.
You deserve the love that you deserve. It's probably that you have more than likely childhood issues, like we all do, and then you go out and you project either the anima or the animus onto these other people. You don't put that same kind of pressure on your cats and dogs. I mean, think about that for a little bit, you know.
Well, it's true, and sometimes we project it. You know, sometimes we either expect our partner to fix our emotional holes or fractures, and the partner has no idea that that's what you may not have an idea initially that when you go into a relationship, you have this hope, and you turn that hope into a little bit of a denial or a vision that now I'm attracted to this person, so that means that whatever was crappy in my life, this guy, this girl, this person is going to fix it all. This is going to this is going to be the scab that finally heals something that I've never even told them that story. They don't even know that story. Well, how about this level up? How about this course correction? You learn about your old stories, and you learn to get yourself liberated from any trauma bond. Trauma bonds make us stay in situations. That's the catalyst that when you're healed, the trauma bond makes you stay because there's still a level of unworthiness, or I'm not going to be seen as a good person unless I just fix this other person, the codependency drama and all that. The healing is where it is what it is, in a sense, and you're the only person you can really read or know about feelings is your feelings within yourself, and we have to not avoid those, deny those. At the same time, the Aries wisdom is, and just because you or I may have those very feelings around anger or sex or commitment or whatever, we have to stop assuming that because that's the way we feel that kind of way about that everybody else feels exactly the same in the same kind of way that we feel about this or that. I think that's a big mistake that we kind of assume if they're attracted to me, that they see it just like I do. No, it might be the very opposite things that will help you course correct each other and be a win-win for each other when you kind of listen to how they arrived at that resolution for whatever was a fracture or a break or a trauma in their life, and you're like, oh, wow, well, that's interesting. And I'm all about therapy. I'm all about, if you want to study Reiki, if you want to learn the energetic signatures of sound or color, or it's your priest or your rabbi or your preacher, or you like regular counseling, you're going to take a couple of years in your life maybe and learn either through and or your astrological chart some of the character signatures that were around the father and mother figures, the gaps, and the valleys and the mountain peaks and the hallelujahs and the oh no's. I mean, when you kind of can see that it's not a punishment, that our childhood dynamics, although there could have been some really incredible sobbing pain with all of that, if we correct it, if it's your childhood or my childhood, and we look at it and step back for a moment and how is this a teaching? What did I gain from it? I know what was crappy. I know what was hurtful, but what strengths can I implement from just surviving that crap? Just surviving that loss or surviving that didn't get to happen to me that way. And I'm no longer jealous of someone that had a really good relationship with their parents, their mom or their dad, because you or I didn't. Maybe that was just an aspect of a teaching. And if there's such a thing as the immortality of our soul and rising in consciousness, maybe there's some kind of dharma, soul duty, or some kind of karma of that we're working through, just like the 12 spokes of the wheel in our star charts and the 12 houses and the 12 signs and the 12 seasons as we measure our calendars in the most parts of the world now. Maybe it's the 12 labors of Hercules. Maybe it's 12 different ways that we can implement star medicine to help course correct our own character strengths or weaknesses.
Doesn't it feel good? I mean, do you realize, how good it feels when you can just be you, make mistakes, the good side of you, the bad side of you, the goofy side of you, the one that screws up, the one that's not perfect, the one that's authentically you. And thank God we have Pluto and Aquarius pushing all of this from the outbounds, making sure that this stuff happens. But doesn't it feel good to be do you really want to be an adult and feel like you're back in school again, trying to find a clique to fit in? Or maybe I'm not man enough or woman enough or whatever the hell it is. Do you really want to go through all that again? Or just know what you know? You're compatible with some people and some people you're not, but you could still be kind and connect and move on, just keep going.
Yeah, just read the wavelengths, read the frequency signatures that you're around, and it may not. A lot of things can be. Its time has just not come yet that you're going to meet them, or your paths will cross and then separate, and then there's all kinds of different kind of high dives in jumping off the high diving board and going down to the depths with myself and other people, that you can connect with these very people that had a rite of passage in your life that created. You had moments with them that created really powerful, I call them reference memories, because that happened that kind of way, I'm going to think back on that. I'm going to continue to learn from that. Or that was interesting. Didn't see that one coming. And I feel like that one's got a lot of fruits through my labors that I will actually benefit from. I think that one can bloom. I think it can bloom to where they were a fate teacher. They touched my life in a very, very deep way. We formed a commitment, and I feel like that it can be a blessing both ways. If it ended that you were betrayed or deceived, or the person just refused to open up and let you see the authentic aspects of them, damn, that's their loss. That's their loss.
You tried, man. You tried. You tried. You can only reach so far until you can't reach anymore,
Yeah, and there is no psychic and there is no person on this earth. When you first start connecting in an energetic type of signature with the heart and the anticipation of the mind and the electricity and the magnetism that happens with that person that's fated to alter and shift something in each other's lives, not all intimacy is supposed to end up with you live with them and have kids with them and make vows of whatever your ancestry or your cultural is, whether it's hand fasting or you're going before a church and a preacher, but it has to do with what energy sparks, Aries again, got ignited between the two of you, that even if there was chaos operating in their world and your world, there was still something that both of you sensed, saw, and read with each other beyond their difficulty of their family life or relationship or divorce or I can't leave it, I'm in trauma, whatever it was. There's those people that we meet in our life, and it's like, I am going to be forever kind of referencing this, appreciating this, sometimes getting pissed it didn't go another way. I think it could have been great. I'm glad I got out of it, whatever the ultimate decision may be. But something about that dynamic was just like a phoenix or a flying dragon that came into your life and say you will forever see things differently. Your course is altered because of that person's impact on your life, whether you ended up with them or not. So that's the energy that's getting very intense right now. We're getting ready. Right now it's about what are we, if we look at Cancer being the shell that the turtle goes into, the crab has, along with its pinchers, the crayfish, the lobster. When we look at crustaceans, when we look at things that I also look at in animal medicine, I also look at the time of Cancer as the fox den, the bear's cave that it hibernates in. It tends to hibernate in this area of the world.
For me, it's the bear's cave, especially.
Yeah. It's the bear cave, and it's like, so there's something to do with the womb even of nature right now, lush forests, getting out of the city. There's something to, let go of some of the iPads and the cell phones, and, don't leave in your car. They'll blow up in the heat we've got going on right now. That's happening. Don't do that. So it's like put it in a Faraday bag or something, and just if you want the cell phone with you because you're hiking or you're on vacation or whatever, and you don't want the creeper peepers to sneak up on you or whatever your fear might be or could happen with crime in tourist areas, put your cell phone in a protective Faraday bag in your light walking bag, tote, camp pack that you've got, but let it not be emanating, let it not be tracking you, let the location be off in a sense, that you can actually have those moments that there's whole generations that had moments without any kind of cell phone. And if you want to look back just a little bit
God, I missed
to
them
a past story, go
so
back
much.
into the 90s. Yeah. Go back into when you were a kid. What was your safe place when you were a kid? And sometimes it concerns me a little bit that I see so many technological babysitters happening with little kids that are 2 and 3, and the parents have got a break and they've got them playing with the technology. And I'm like, wow. I remember loving being out in the woods and running out in nature and rolling on logs and jumping in the creek and swinging on grapevines. And it didn't have anything to do with the cell phone. It didn't have anything to do with radiation. It just didn't. So I'm feeling, Joe, like the pendulum could start to spark, when Mars gets into Libra a little bit later on, and we've got the planets starting to go into Leo. But I think that we might get that spirit of play back that doesn't just involve playing video games with other online people. That's a form of play. That's a spirit of play.
I
there's
like
competition. Yeah. But I mean to actually have the best of both worlds, let's say. That you're getting the Gemini technology. There's going to be drones and robot dogs and all kinds of stuff that's going to be advanced out and paranormal, supernatural things from the heavens and skies, the comets and all kinds of star showers and all these amazing things above our heads are going to happen when Uranus gets into Gemini. And it's, as Joe mentioned, and it starts to do the dance with what's really at the yod or the finger of fate of God, has to do with Pluto and Aquarius. We're in a cycle of futuristic renaissance.
Yeah, and so many people have predicted that this time was going to feel crazy, and it does. I mean, if you look at your chart, all of your aspects, all of everything. I mean, we say this all the time, but there is no categorizing you. The easiest way to categorize people is by gender nowadays, and even that gets confused sometimes. But as far as who you are uniquely, if you really looked at all of the energies in your chart, there's no way to categorize you.
Exactly.
So how do you have to find a home in yourself so you can make a home for others, and in turn, it gets reciprocal. Others will start making a home for you the more we start being authentic and the more we accept people's authenticity and stop trying to control and categorize everybody. It's not going to work.
True. Yeah, yep. And Aries with Saturn in Aries. Saturn is Chronos, the agent of time, the planetary symbology, teacher, archetype of father figure in time. And so it's in Aries, and Aries is like the impulse of just begin it. Let's go. First, toe in the water, first step, let's do this. So it's going to have a lot to do with people feeling, especially men, feeling a great sense of passion and commitment for what they believe in, what they will defend. And you could see surges in patriotism in the military, not just America. You're going to start to see people really rise up. I was looking at several astrologers' take on because people get all these different opinions, and it's like so. Ugh. But the chart of Iran, I think it's like April 1st, 1979, the new Republic of Iran or something like that. I'm like, whoa, Aries, okay. And if memory serves me well, I remember that Israel, one of the main charts they use for Israel has got to do with Taurus the Bull. Well, Taurus the Bull is where the planet that rules revolution and radicalism, Uranus, is now leaving 7 years of being in Taurus the fixed sign, the bull. Our food, our farms, our, stop telling me what to do with my animals, don't cull my chickens, and do I need to prep? I mean, you go back 7 years from where we are right now, because on July 7th, Uranus will start a new 7-year cycle in Gemini. That gets along with Pluto. Soon Mars will be in Libra. So innovation and rising above, allowing our mind, as far as the real genius, is if we will start to realize that as creators, the Creator created us, so as creators with the supernatural and holy DNA of the Creator, that if we will get out of the ego only and the doubts of society only and the judgments and you're not cool unless you do this and own this and do that, as a creator,
you're a winner if you do this, you're a loser if you don't have this.
Right. A judgment, yeah, shame, blame. But as a creator, if we allow the majesty of knowing within ourselves that as one with the Creator, I am that I am, one with all that is, that we just need to receive it. So all that other psychological, emotional stuff, we got to get out of the fact that whether mom did it, validated this, or dad did it, or whatever, the siblings or whatever, you are one with the original supernatural DNA. So the divine I am and divine alignments, I am one with the divine I am. I am one with love's light. I am one with the strength of harmony. And start adding in your affirmations, in what you're calling with your spirit-filled voice, start adding, and I receive it now, all is well with my soul. Because all is well with my soul, and I am one with the Creator in this moment, not the personality of Mary, not the ego of Joe or Brian or whoever it is. I am one with the Creator. I acquiesce, I bow, and I allow the absolute best for all concerned. I call that into action. And yes, I have faith as my fuel, and I will receive it. Nothing is impossible when you get in alignment with that. No thing is impossible because you are one with Creator, so therefore you are creation. That's validated by me talking right now. I was created. People can argue about who, how, why you got here and where you're going. But in this creation, I can feel it. It's viable. I can affect other things around me, and I have responsibility as one with the Creator to send forth frequencies, boundaries when they're needed, but with firm compassion and commitment in the strength of myself, knowing that it's okay for you, that's not for me. Do not push that on me. I will not participate in that. Don't even need to spend time judging you. It's your life. Go do it. But it changes when you're a parent and you have a young child and you're wanting to guide them, and it changes when you get into that Cancerian mode of going backwards and sideways. Like, well, the world is so tough. I want my child to always love them, so I'll never tell them no. They don't have to work, and I'll just keep giving them money because why else do I work anyway? But you're not training the child to be able to see options for how they want to handle life. And it might be they work at Burger King or something for a little while because they were supposed to meet that person, and that ended up being a great alliance at school for the next year or whatever, or in that town. Like, we start our lifelong friends, and we start those people that they might be 13, but they're life teachers for us. That child, that baby we did or we didn't have or stay in our life, all that kind of stuff ends up being exclamation points of our evolutionary, emotional, and spiritual nature. But it's how we feel about it. And if our feelings are flowing. So Cancer, the crab, it's the breast, it's the nurturing of a baby, it's the umbilical cord, it's how it grows in the seed or the womb or on the tree bud. It's everything to do with conception and the creation of life. When we get to Leo, it's the actual inner child. But right now, it's the mother idea and the mother that is now impregnated with that seed of intention. So we're all pregnant with possibility right now, energetically. So colors like sky blue and the light aqua green that you see on oceans, sometimes lakes, and the silvery light of the moon, that warm white, and peaches, like the color of flamingo, if you want to go bright with it. These are Cancerian colors, and by the light of the silvery moon, it's not battleship gray, it's silvery. It's like a silver and a white. Those are colors that strengthen the intuition, and you don't have to go buy something or wear sterling silver. You can simply intend as one with the Creator. As you're breathing and settling yourself down into prayer, ceremony, meditation, you're not always asking or petitioning. You're allowing now the stars in the light of the moon, Mother Earth, Grandmother Moon, Great Spirit, Holy Spirit, and all the air messengers called angelic divine host to now come into your breath and show you it's okay to receive. You don't have to do battle with external places and people anymore. It's okay for you to receive compatible energies with money, with work. You know, how you move and dance through society and people. When you're in stealth mode, you don't give a rat's ass about fitting into society's opinion. That cannot leash you or capture you, because you get it as one with spirit that all of this we're passing through. We walk this world for a while.
I know the age group of this audience because I look at the analytics. My God, okay. I mean, if you are still worried about what people think about you at that age, like, I get it, man. Like, right. I mean, you want the people that you care about to like you, want you around, maybe look up to you, admire you, maybe even, hopefully not idolize you. That's something entirely different. But you want to be liked, but damn it, you gotta like yourself, man. You know, first. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but do you really think other people are going to feel comfortable around you if you don't like who you are? If you don't love everything about you, are people really going to feel cancer comfort around you?
Right. Yeah. It's like not going to. Yeah. You feel nurtured, and you feel the reciprocal pulses of that when someone makes it okay. That, you know, I've had friends say to me, "Yeah, I'll tag along. Yeah, I'll go to dinner with you. I'll go to lunch with you. But oh man, I don't want to dress up today. Can I go casual?" I'm like, yeah.
Hell yeah, go casual.
Yeah, if you want to go with me, I want you to be put on today what makes you feel comfortable. And by the same token, if you wanted an excuse to go dress up and you know, strut your bad self, I don't care, because trust me, I'm going to wear what I want to wear today. So yeah, I want that for you. Why wouldn't I? So what's happening is Aries tends to bring things to us fast, rapid fire. The match is lit. There's no non-committal energy anymore. The balance to Aries is Libra. That's the polarity in the opposite sign, where Libra says you can still achieve the same thing, but you can use soft words. You can let people feel safe and comfortable. And Aries is like, yeah, okay, I'm going to try that one time. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to tell them. I mean, Aries is like, well, let's just get to the point and get it over with, because I'm not saying my opinion is 100% right at all, but I'm not doing them any favors if I don't tell them that when they come over and sit at my house and clip their fingernails at my house, I don't like it. I don't care if people think that's weird. I don't like it. Like, don't clip your toenails and your fingernails in front of me. Don't do that. You know, I must have used that example because Mars is in Virgo, and Virgo's all about hygiene and clean up your own mess, and for God's sakes, don't just perfume it. Wash yourself, you know. Mars is in Virgo right now, so it's going to bring up the part of it. It goes, oh boy, I think I want to move into more natural products. And, you know, Mars is also our nervous system. So you might find yourself, especially if you're a Gemini, a Pisces, a Virgo, where Mars is right now, or a Sagittarius, overanalyzing, overthinking it, and then getting to the point where it's like, I just want to rest. I just need to take a nap. I want to take a nap. I'm not sleeping right. I've lost my sleep. I got to get my sleep back. I've had people saying to me of the mutable signs, my circadian rhythms are all off. It's like I'm tired during the day and I'm up at night, and I'm not even playing video games or whatever. It's just weird. So people, and plus we're at a high sunspot cycle. You know, there's all these things that are going on. Jupiter, you know, as of the end of July, Jupiter just became a morning star, and as of the end of July, we'll be able to see it. Right now, it's at new moon, and Cazimi means that, you know, the sun's kind of brightness is blocking out everything. It's summer here, and the sun, you know, it's climbing to its highest point by the time we get to, oh gosh, yeah. So don't tell me things aren't going into Aries. Aries is like,
we're all
running
to the swimming holes and the waterfalls and the mountains here in Arkansas. It's hot. You know?
Oh yeah, and a lot of people stifle. And I remember, I think it was in the 80s, I remember traveling out of Florida. My brother was working at the Chattanooga Choo-Choo, and I flew in, and it was 110 in Chattanooga. And I looked at him, and I'm like, damn, this is Tennessee. What's going on? And he goes, I don't know. We're having so I remember that, and it's just like, you know what? I think it was like 82. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back to Florida because, you know, at least there's humidity, but you can get to water pretty easy. You can feel the mist of the ocean or whatever it is. I'm more of the nature thing than just getting into a local swimming pool, but that's okay too. So the energy right now is, what are we getting fired up about, and how does it feel? How does it feel? Cancer and the moon, we learn, as soon as you get into astrology, you start realizing the moon is the inner light. It ties into our childhood. It has everything to do with what our subconscious recorded, and we've gotten in a loop emotionally, and we can't seem to heal it because we keep feeling it just one kind of way, and we're too rigid on that, and we got to do a little work, little homework, soul work on being able to bust out of just how that memory impacted us in a way that we didn't like, and we don't want to revisit, but we're still having it show up in our intimate partners. Yeah. So that's where Cancer, the season of Cancer, can also be really good to check in with yourself on, are you attracting what worked well and what didn't work so well with the mother figure in your life or the father figure in your life, because what you got or didn't get from either one of those, and there's a time period where you work through both, whatever that story was, to where you can finally say, no, this is Joe in a relationship, this is Mary in a relationship, and this is Mary not just formed by grandparents and school and society and what made Dad grin and what Mom, go, oh my God, that's over. That's an old story. I'm tired of it. It's a movie that I don't need to watch again.
How many of you, like, seriously, I know this is a crazy off question, but like, how many of you have laid on a blanket and looked at the stars? This is my first question, without posting it to Instagram, without making sure everybody sees it. How many of you have given somebody a hug so relaxed where you actually just let go in the hug, and they even held on to him just a little bit longer just because it felt good? Do it. Like, I'm telling you, it's not just the 80s and the 90s, man. That era was different. We are more disconnected now than we've ever been, ever.
Especially emotionally, Joe. Especially emotionally.
Ever. Like it. This is why I hear all my friends, oh, you remember when we talk about it all the time. Remember when we only had like 4 channels on the TV and we used to turn the antenna and kids are riding their bikes up and down the street all day. And if you called a girl on the phone, I mean, you had to get past her parents. Sometimes she wasn't even home, or you had to go to her house or whatever. Like, people miss connecting, not just with everything, not just each other, just with everything. Now all we do is we stare at a screen and it's like, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? I relate to that. That validates me. That validates me. No, that doesn't. I relate to that. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. Then that's all. It's just, we don't even have time to be ourselves, much less connect to anybody else.
Well, and I think it wears people's discernment tools out to try to see, is that a bot? Is that a real person? Is that a hacker? Are they in Nigeria and they say that they're in, Alabama? I mean, what? It's like it's all over the place. It really is kind of like hypnosis, psychosis.
It's crazy.
I can't tell you how many people say, look, I want peace in the world. I am not getting on X. I'm not watching the news. There's hardworking people in the media and the journalism, but, that's just not where my pendulum wants. I can cut to the I can cut to the chase, and I can be spiritually maternal, and I can be a paternal protector and say, I accept, I call, I affirm peace and harmony in the world. I call for the light and the harmony and the protection of all that are innocent, and I call for divine discernment with any of these so-called impositions of power leaders of the world. We, the people, don't want war. We, the people, don't want strife. We, the people, Earth citizens, we don't want to keep ravaging Mother Earth and just pulling out the worst of our personalities for the need of greed, or power or control. It's like, let's start. It doesn't cost us anything to take 30 or 60 seconds once a day to just see light, and just for that long, 15 to 60 seconds, just for that long, just play pretend that you can feel take a moment when you were really peaceful in your life. You were really just like, life is good, this is wonderful, and just let that, I don't care if it's involved with food or a certain car you drove or someone's kiss. This is wonderful. This feels so right. This feels so good. You didn't travel in the past or the future at that moment. It was just like, wowza. this moment matters, send that to the world. Send that to the world. That's how we can be universal mothers. It says that, the Buddhist bodhisattva in Buddhism is one that has achieved godlike wisdom and status in the Buddhist realm, that they've achieved nirvana or they've achieved enlightenment, but they choose to stay to help Earth. They choose to stay even though they could get out of whatever cycle of incarnation or whatever. Kuan Yin is the one that hears people's tears. Kuan Yin is known as the Buddhist bodhisattva of compassion. So when someone says, like the former John Lennon song, and the Beatles song, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, seeking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be in the hands of the Creator. Let it be your higher self. Let it be you are able to dream and meditate and allow the angelic messengers to come along. Because we're about to witness, these are times of miracle and wonder. We're about to, all this that's going on with all the internet and the Starlinks and this and that and all of that, what's happening above our heads, what's being dimmed, and the environmental people is just like, you know what, y'all are just like caught up in the chaos. You're just caught up in the chaos, and if that's what you want is the trouble and the chaos, and that's how you want to spend your energy, because your life force is your most valuable currency.
Man, for some people, that's the only way. I've realized this in my life too. For some people, that's the only way they feel connected is through chaos and drama and whatever. And it's a lot of times you can't judge it, because if you look at people are only products of their environments, and at some point when they get to be an adult, they have to take responsibility for their environment, hopefully. But if you look at it, that's what they grew up in. I've met some of the sweetest people in my life, Mary, that their families were so backhanded and disconnected, it was insane. And I felt empathy for them. Not judging, oh, these are shitty people. They have their own stories too, how they got that way, but it's it's just sad. It's sad, man.
Well, and you have compassion, but at the same time, when you get people, that they got flash frozen, disassociated from the trauma or the chaos, maybe they weren't beat, but it was going on in the household and there was addiction and all that, so they shut down. It's that's why some people, they don't have just flight or fight, they have what they call the fawn trauma response, and they just go numb, they disassociate, they just shut down, kind of a thing. It's like, I'm not in, I'm not out, and so they can actually just block the memory of it for a while. And so what's happening is if we can start to realize that if our story before now had a lot of chaos and trauma and abuse, or, just thought arrows flying all over the place, and it was a very academic family, you had a place in society, and your parents were, you didn't struggle financially, but they expect you to be a dentist or a doctor. There's that pressure that goes on at Ivy League level as well.
You've got to make at least $150,000 a year, or you're a loser. You don't want to be a loser, do you?
Yeah. And so again, you come in with the two, I think, castrating energies that can be when we shame ourselves, when we shame another, when we blame ourselves, or we blame another. So I think those can be loops that we get tracked in, and then we become more empathic, and we want to show compassion, and that's, if you're not careful, that's when you draw in the energy vampires that go, ooh, look, someone that has a wound over there in their aura and their psyche, and so I can come on in there and I can love bomb them, and I can let them feel like they've never felt, and then I'll put a carrot up over their head, or then I'll drop the guillotine. Because
I've been there before. That sucks.
All of a sudden, they had such high drama chaos that they probably went into a fawn response and just memorized the bejesus out of that. And from both parties that were caught in the dynamic of user-loser, or I win, you win, or we all go down, they wanted to learn from both parties that were engaged in that continual conflict, because they figure, well, if I get the bad part of that one and the bad part of that one, and I see which one's the villain and which one gets the victory, but that must be how life works.
How do you win?
I believe.
How do you win in life?
You've got to become a champion.
What the fuck are you winning? Pardon my French.
No. You become a champion of your inner child because as we erase, the subconscious is just a recorder. Don't make it bigger or stronger than that. It is a recorder that just videoed everything that, and when we saw it for the first time, it was the deepest thrill, the biggest joy, and also first-time trauma, first-time, hardcore fear or pain. So if we just go back and say, wait a minute, I now have my inner child. I am on board with evolving both psychologically and spiritually. I accept that. That's not work for me. I like that. I'm craving that. Then I say, hey, inner child, cool, we're going to unravel this. And as we delete this file that's been hanging around for too long, we got to empty that trash basket, as they used to say on the original laptops. We got to empty. You sure you want to empty the trash? But yes. You sure want to delete this file? Yes. And what do they call it? You have too much stuff stored in your memory. You need a bigger gig driver or processor. Processor, love that term psychologically too. So as we process and delete that finally out of our reference file, and it's gone, then it can also be that we did graduate, that we did get above the overall lesson, and we don't need to keep manifesting it with new people, same trauma, same shows, same comfort zone of like, well, at least there might have been Chinese fighting in my home, but by God, at least that was my normal. That was the chaos, or there might have been silence in my home, but that was my go-to normal. That's what cancer is. What was home like? And do you understand that the fact that you were too young to drive out of there or fly out of that home base, that shelter from life's storms, could have had some big enough storms going on in life that you had to shelter in place, had a little fire drill within yourself, and now that you're an adult, now that you can, at any age, 11, at 5 age, you can start to instruct in life soul skills. You can say to yourself, that was what happened then, that was how me and I reacted then, but I'm here right now, and I'm going to evolve that. I'm going to evolve the bejesus out of that, because that's not going to be a holdback for me anymore. If I do that on my stuff, and Joe does that on his stuff, and anybody we know really takes to task the part of them that kind of sends them off the rails or knocks their legs out from under them, if we look at that and work on that and release that when we don't have anything or anyone stirring the crazy pot in our life, including ourselves, if we would take those moments, and for me, as an intuitive astrologer, when I have the water signs come along, this is our first water sign of 2025, Cancer the Crab, oceans of emotions, the feeling, are we freeze-framed or is the feeling flowing? We're not going to have another water sign until Scorpio, until we get into the autumn, until we get to that last week of October and the first, 2.5, 3 weeks of November. And then we're going to have Pisces, the last sign of winter. So this is one of those cycles for us to pause, process, check in with ourselves and say, am I connecting with my own authenticity? Am I sidelining my own self? And if I'm not being empathic with myself and compassionate with myself, why am I choosing to walk sideways? Don't blame somebody. Why am I avoiding, enabling, judging, criticizing? How about if I just today start a month-long project, and I'm not going to make it too hard on myself. It's going to feel kind of new and weird at first, but with this new moon, I'm going to be authentically me. I'm not out to change anybody. I don't have to over-explain myself, and I don't have to prove my point going, I don't want to do that now. Instead, just say, yeah, well, you pick lunch today, or yeah, I think I'm going to stay home today too. Like, don't push anybody to do anything, but if your authentic self says, we always go out to eat with you picking or going at the same place, would you be open to the idea of me picking a lunch place today? Make it something really simple for the most part and not emotionally a high tide. And then the tide can stay out and you can effectively, as they say, bust a move. And that one little thing of doing it a different way for the first time, what's that do? That sets a new precedence. It's a creative moment that now can become, a reference memory. And you can come back to that instead of how whoever it was that was trying to be a guardian or not, or a caretaker or not of you when you were 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old. Because believe me, we were all we were all engaged, and we were all very aware as survivalists in a little body going, what the heck's this all about? We were memorizing everything, and we had flight or fight response, we had survival responses, and we had fear things, and we had things that made us angry, and we had a whole bunch of stuff we didn't understand because we didn't know the language. So cancer is...
Put the same love expectations on other humans as you do your favorite cat and your favorite dog.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Absolutely.
Just put that.
Yeah.
Just let all the other expectations go. What they're supposed to fulfill in your life for you, your mommy, daddy stuff, the love you never had, and just treat them like you treat your pets. I don't know why we can't even do that. Like the animals, my cat in there, Leo, he's like, I'm so freaking jealous of him.
Why are you jealous?
He has it made. He has it made. So I mean,
And
not
he picked
jealous in
you.
a bad way. It's just like
Okay. I got you. Country jealous.
he's a narcissist. Hell yeah, he's a narcissist. All he
Cats
thinks
are.
about is himself. But
Cats got
I don't.
that.
He's not there to help me get somewhere in life. He's not there to help me pay my bills. He's not there to be man enough, woman enough, daddy enough, mommy enough. I freaking love the cat being around.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I love the word association of another word for the cat is the feline, Feline, and that one guy, I think it's Michael Bublé, when he sings that one song and he goes, I'm feeling good. It's like you get the jazzy music in the background. That's the way the cats that I've
Everybody's
rescued,
heartbroken, man, because everybody's being used. Like but you've been programmed to do that to each other. You're making it a normal thing to do that to each other. Well, people should do this, or if I'm man enough, or if I'm woman enough, you should do this. And then you got all these memes telling you the same shit, and it doesn't line up with what you feel in your heart at all. And then so you go pet your cat and you stay away from society. Doesn't make sense, does it?
No. And like you said, what you see is what you get. With how animals feral cats or dogs or chickens or roosters or whatever will find their way into your life. And when you least expect it, it just lets you know it's there. It walks out of the woods. It flies over your head, and it's like, wow. I mean, it's a cycle of signs and wonders, especially that which walks on land. And the hummingbird's getting the nectar. Cancer's a water sign, so it has a lot to do with the mist that comes off that waterfall, or the ions, the ions that charge us up when we're at a seashore, type of a thing. So we're looking at our inner shores, and we're looking to SEE. But the look with Cancer the crab is it comes from the inside out. And then you can't let the outside affect or be the judge or the boss of the inside of you. Our insides, Cancer is an introverted, intuitive, part alien, part inner child. Why? Because it's the baby growing in the womb. That's Cancer the crab. It has to do with the growing season on the medicine wheel. Those seeds, it's in the earth. And it's broken the pod of the seed. The creature is forming. The flower, the tree, it's now changing. The butterflies are out. The luna moths are out. It's come out of the cocoon. So it's the cocoon. It's the eggshell, whether it's a snake or a chicken. This is our time in 2025. And astrologers, to Joe's point, we started really looking at 2020 because we knew we were going to have a big air sign conjunction. Every 20 years there's a Saturn-Jupiter thing. Then Pluto went into Aquarius, and so we've got this Aquarian energy, and astrologers are going, it's kind of dawning of the age of the Aquarius, the song of this. Yeah, this kind of feels like it could be the runway. This could be the threshold. All this air stuff started happening. We heard about, unfortunately, weird air crashes and things, people walking away and everybody else dying, and all these air things. And I don't know what the sign of the Hudson River is. But that thing just gets all kinds of weird stuff. There's got to be some kind of paranormal group that knows what's up with the haunting of the Hudson River. That one Captain Scully that landed beautifully, and then there's all these things that go into the Hudson River. So that's an odd thing. I'm watching the sad things that can happen with water. The horrible rainstorm and animals where people get displaced, or people that drowned, or boating accidents, or there was just some yacht that on Monday that was coming from out of somewhere and from China, and it had like over 3,000 cars on it.
Was it a ferry? Was it a yacht?
And it's got like the name Magi in it somewhere, and it just had a fire before, and they went out again, and it's sinking. the first press release you hear is, so far there have been absolutely no reports of toxicity in the ocean. It's like, yeah, okay, that's cute. Yeah, I'll accept that. Okay, I like that. I'll receive that. There will be no toxicity to the effluvia, the womb waters of Mother Earth. That's the ocean, the salt waters that giveth life and taketh away. A lot of cultures put the ashes or the little paper boats out, like in India, to have to do cremation. The Indians put the body way up in the air. So there's a lot of things that have to do with how we feel, whatever we feel about the afterlife and heaven and the angels and what we ascribe to as our spiritual go-to. That's Cancer the Crab, too. You can't look at the moon on a full moon or a sliver moon or a half moon. You can't look up above your head and not wonder, and what is that? What's the story of that? And where's that come from?
Listen.
So the moon, and even the sign name in America, even the sign of Cancer the Crab, Cancer is literally Latin for the crab. So I like to look at it archetypically and psychologically as to say to self, where might you be avoiding or walking sideways, not wanting to, actually move forward with this, and are you backing up on it because you're just not sure of your footing yet, or you don't know if that's something you'll be comfortable with. All those things are okay, but the first step is us recognizing, boy, that's funny. In my life right now, I just do not want to deal with that. I do not want to prioritize that. And if people try to say to us, oh, my God, you've been talking about doing that for a long time. How haven't you taken that action yet? We get mad. I mean, they're right. That's exactly what we've done. We put it off with ourselves, and we've had that conversation. I didn't want to do it.
Those are your friends.
But then somebody else says it, we get all pissy. It's like, how dare you say that to me? I just said that to me in my head. How dare you get in there and say it back to me? It's funny how we react as earth creatures. We're the humanoids. When we come from the stars and we're part stars, and we are electromagnetic creatures with frequencies and biogenetics and epigenetics, and so we're these marvelous creations. And I think that before we enter into the sun's most powerful sign of Leo, when we get to, the third week of July, why don't we just look at all the memories and all the moments that we will choose to have, we already have had, and that we altered, and as artists, we decided that, out of whatever chaos I had, I always felt at peace when I brushed my hair. I always felt at peace right after a rainstorm, or when somebody cut the grass, that smell. I love that smell. Whatever was at peace at home on Mother Earth, whenever you're at home, speaking to God, speaking to the Creator, feeling that oneness, getting that dream image. It could be motor oil and
gasoline, doesn't have to be grass.
Yeah. Whatever gives you a sense of I am connected, I am loved, I am one with all that is. I loved that meditation. Oh my God, I felt such an emotional embrace. Joe was talking about the hug, the person that you hugged.
Yeah,
long
hug
enough.
people, man.
Yeah.
Hug them.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want, if they stink, then maybe not.
Mars is in Virgo. Clean your ass up. Take an Epsom salt bath.
No, I'm
every
just playing.
Every orifice in your body gets clean and smells good. If you'll just shower first, shave whatever you want to shave, and then let it go down the drain and have a 5-minute Dr. Teal's Epsom salts bath with the flavor and the fragrance of essential oils that you like. Man, it is body heaven. Trust me. And it's about under $4 for a bag of Epsom salts. Cleans everything, gives you magnesium. Perfect stuff. It's the best cosmetic adornment that you could have to actually walk out the door smelling clean without the downy pod crystals and the dryer shit. Just do a Dr. Teal's Epsom salt bath. That's my advice for the water ritual of Cancer the Crab. Get in the bathtub. It's womb-like. It's embryonic. You get in it. It's a little too small for you. You can't quite really lay down. Sometimes they have a seat in them, and you got this shower, and then sometimes you have the jacuzzi and the jet. Okay, just get in the damn bath and close the drain and do some Dr. Teal's Epsom salts.
Sometimes you got to borrow someone else's jacuzzi.
That's all right. That's all right. Just ask them if they can do Epsom salts. Ask them, because there's certain oils and things you can't do in jacuzzi. But even if you don't turn the jets on, even if you just get in there and do that, that's a baptism. That's a shedding of the old self. You have risen up, cleaned, and away from it.
I mean, I can tell you, I don't want to project, Mary. We only got maybe 20, 30 minutes left in the program. I don't want to project. I'm just saying, I feel like there's a disconnection. And I'm 43 years old now. I want to spend the rest of my life around things and people just because of the way I feel around them, not because they're doing things for me or they're getting me somewhere, or they've got this certain feature that I just like, or whatever's being programmed. Like everything in my life now, I keep around me, including my friends, not just other, partner, but friends, is because I just enjoy their company.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. Genuineness. There's nothing like it. You can be around thousands and thousands of people in an audience, or people that admire how you sing, how you paint, how you dance, how you perform, but then they still talk often when you see them. It's in the retirement of their career, or when they're done with the Olympics and they're still quite young, like, oh, I'm too old for the Olympics now, I'm 30. I was like, oh, okay. But when they say to you, the people along the way, those people that maybe we can fit them all on two hands, with our fingers as counters. Those people are the ones that were the inspiration, that were the challenges, that were the cheerleaders, that was the coach, and who then we reciprocally pay in kind, and we want to be their cheerleader and their coach, and not tell them what to do, but see what it is that they do already on automatic pilot that's uniquely special to them, and ask, do you see that? You've really got a gift in that. You really have that. You may or may not want to lean into that right now, but let me just let you know, I'm somebody in life that sees you got a gift for that.
Yeah.
Now, what you do with it's up to you, but you're really gifted in that. Like, how many times have you been told, Joe, about how you have a comforting voice, and it's wonderful when you're doing one of the Audible books, or you're doing a meditation, or somebody bears their soul to you because they feel safe, because you don't know them physically or where they live, and they can, as we always say, use
everywhere
the
I go, people
call.
just open up to me. They just do.
Yeah.
I don't even and it's weird. It's like, even if I don't say anything to them, they just, and I love it. What makes me uncomfortable, like it might be a Cancer Moon thing, and I noticed that Jane said, someone else said they were Cancer Moon, is when I feel disconnected from people. I actually get uncomfortable when people when they're not, when I can just tell they're not being authentic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes me
uncomfortable. That's survival in the ocean. That's the survival in the ocean, too. I mean, a shark can eat a crab. A shark can, get a crawfish or a lobster, or a different kind of, there's man of war and stingrays and those horseshoe crabs. Their stinger will come right up and get you if you don't shuffle your feet in the ocean. So I love the octopus. I love the dolphins and the whales. So there's all kinds of, they call them monsters of the deep and Loch Ness. I mean, there's all kinds of, like, light and dark as legends and lore go, to do with aquatic things, with water things. There's wind-driven water. There's the force of a tsunami or a tidal wave, or just wicked, rain-driven storms that it can just, like, whoa, that's a mudslide. So, we've heard a lot about the fire, and we've heard a lot about just like the devastation of certain hurricanes and the oddity of it, how it's not been like that in a long time, especially when you track hurricanes like that. Something's different about last year. Yeah, okay. So, and you start to look at the skies, and you start to look at 5G and 6G, and you start to look at weather manipulation, and it isn't whether you agree with it or not. You just kind of go, that's interesting. We got satellites over our heads, so what makes us think that that wouldn't affect our atmosphere somehow? So if we focus as creators, as the mother principle, the temple of life, we can speak words of life to people. Aries is the new idea, the ignition, the way that with the magician.
Starter.
Yeah, and the Chariot, one of the traditional cards of the sign of Cancer, the crab, the cups, the water suit. The Chariot has a great responsibility in most of the artwork of the older tarot decks. The Chariot is literally one with the two horses or the flying things. He is one. The vehicle of the Chariot is also known as the Merkaba or the Merkaba, and it's the moving spirit soul self. So whether your soul self, and that's what everybody divides their beliefs and everything on, this animation, the fire of you, the feeling of you, the thoughts and the acumen and the creativity of you, and the compassion and the way you throw the feelings and the thoughts out, and the earth, the physical part of you that hugs and encourages and sets boundaries and says, don't do that way. Don't do that way to me. I'm not that person in your life. Want to know me? Don't do that. So you're not shaming them, you're not blaming them, you're just letting them know, yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
That's when people say, I ain't the one, that's what they mean.
Yeah, I ain't the one.
Don't do that to me.
But now I ain't the one, and that also goes back to that relative casting that little wonky downward eye going, you'll think? It's like, you're about to find out what's going to roll out, and I'm going to be the one that found out, didn't you? You'll think. So
but I mean, we've been setting boundaries for, God, 2 years now. Like, if you ain't figured out what boundaries are yet, God bless you. I don't know what else to do for you.
Step number one is to thine own self be true.
Yeah,
That's the highest part of Aries.
There's so many boundaries that are up now, like with what's going on in the world. I'm telling you guys right now, like all this programming and stuff. I'll give you an example. Do you remember back in the day, and I'll bring the 80s up again. I was just talking to my buddy Jeff. Like you could buy a car, maybe you had a $300 payment a month, but you could pay it off in 24 months.
Yes.
24 months you could pay a car off, and then you could go to the grocery store with $100 and fill your basket up.
Yeah. Yep.
That world of that top 1% of the 1% or whatever, not judging them, great, they're rich, whatever. But like that world is getting this whole thing is changing. So, I'm not going to get here if I don't have this or this person's not providing. You don't ever get success, and you don't get anywhere in life without others. You don't.
Right.
Nothing. Right.
Unity,
so we're going to get to a day and age where things are going to be so freaking hard if they ain't already here, and we're so disconnected, and that all this power and control that you're afraid of is really going to be in control in ways you can't imagine until we let all that stuff go.
And an intimacy factor of like whatever age group, 10 years that we talk about, age group that you're in, whether it's 60 to 70 or 40 to 50 or 19 to. One of the things I said to Joe is when I talk to people in that age range of like 15 males, primarily 15 to about 20, they're all telling me that it's reverse of what I remember in the 80s, 90s. It's the reverse of that. It's like they're telling me that they want a love. They want
it's
a
not
relationship.
just the young
so I'm
guys.
like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's unusual for me to hear that about, the high school years. It's just like, yeah, who can I score with? It's different. They're telling me that the girls are the hunters. Yeah, that the girls are the hunters and that they just want to, play and pay to play and do what they do, but they don't want any kind. And I'm like, really? And I've had like 4 different guys in this area, and two of them astounded me because one was 18 and one was 17, and they said, well, I have a girlfriend, but it may just be Tennessee, but I have a girlfriend, but I really want to hold out. I mean, I want to make this special. I'm like hearing those words, and I'm like, boy, that's different. So I guess I'm talking like Joe is about the intimacy pendulum, I believe.
Just be responsible
that, again,
to each other.
Saturn's entered Aries. We're going through a whole new primal revolutionary cycle with Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, and Pluto and Aquarius going, how you doing over there? This is a nice little 60-degree relationship, and guess what? We are in harmony. We've got an A-team harmony going on. Now, with Neptune and Aries, I'm telling you, no matter what you're doom scrolling, no matter what's going on that platform or TikTok or X or whatever, Neptune dissolves. So if Aries has to do with war and Aries has to do with strategies of battle and putting the word out and slogans and memes and like espionage and psyops and there's a war on for your mind and bark, 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 bark,
I like
bark.
the word espionage.
Yes, espionage. Well, Neptune in Aries is going to dissolve the bullshit. It's going to expose the people that are just wanting to keep the war for the sake of profit thing. It's going to expose all that. It's going to dissolve it. What you're going to see, because Jupiter's well placed in Cancer, is that people and all of that energy that they want, the people don't want scars and battles, and yes, there's some people that want that. There's some people that chant death to this or that, but there's also psyops propaganda. And like Joe was saying, when you talk about shelter and safety and sheltering in place with a tornado or a bomb or whatever, a country invading you, or a radical belief thinking that you're not worthy because your skin isn't this or that. Okay, those are battlefields. But there's also a battle in the spiritual realm that has to do with the purity of your soul. So the main point that Joe and I always make is get in touch with your soul. And listen when your soul gives you the feeling that that's spiritual food for me. That's a comfort moment for me. This is working in my life. And it may be people inspire you. It may be the book. It may be the spirituality. But you and your relationship with what has spiritual strength in your life, where you always come home to, Lord, I'm tired. This is too big for me. I don't know what to do anymore. Calling in before and in the midst of anything else that you're trying to do to solve your angst, bringing in that spiritual fire, bringing in that supernatural, paranormal, can't even describe it and define it sometimes. I give this to you, divine. I call in the Holy Ghost. I call in, the love of light, whatever it is that works for you. I release this to the risen Christ. Whatever it is that you have a symbiotic relationship. It's a partnership. That's your first state of intimacy. That's your mystic marriage.
Yeah.
And it isn't that someone has to be Catholic like you. A lot of times that works, or Buddhist like you, or whatever it is. It has to do with it's you and your spiritual marriage. It's you and no matter what you're going through, financial high times, health high times, low times, or whatever it is, when you get in the rut or you're flying high, that is what it always feels like it's right. It always feels like it's right. It's that kind of guidance. It's not like, well, I want this now, or boy, they won't like that. So that's what this cycle of 2025 is saying to you.
Yeah.
Mars in Virgo is saying, jot it down, write it down. Go ahead and clear out the clutter. Go ahead and take care of you. When you get Virgo and Cancer together and zodiac signs are like, and what have you not done for yourself lately? You sacrificed for your kid. You sacrificed for okay, now, and you're eating, the wrong kind of potato chips, but you did that so you could give them school money to go on whatever it was. But you also got to balance that out right now and do something healthy and nice for you. It's okay. Even if that's you read a couple of pages in a book, you play your favorite YouTube or video game, or you just get outside and plant the flower.
Here's the bigger question is, do you think people trust, whether it's themselves, we all know we got to do for ourselves before we can do for other people, but do you think that people trust love, not just intimate love? I know that's the hot topic all the time, but that's part of it. But do you think people trust love nowadays? You got to be real honest about that. Like, do you trust it? First and foremost.
I think that people hope, but I don't think that people do. And I don't mean to be a cynic. I believe that we've got, let's put it this way, if I put on one side of the yellow legal pad, I trust love, and then drew a line down the middle, and on the other side, I don't trust love, I think that people have more immediate, quick answers. What do I not trust about love? What do I fear about love? I think they've got, they're going real fast on that side of it. Well, if this wouldn't happen and that wouldn't happen, when you trust love, it's about, I think our head wants it a lot of times. Our heart really does. But I believe that then when it starts to feel like it is, our head starts to, the very thing that the head said it wants, it starts to shut it down. What about this and what about that? Did you do a background check? And are they just into you for money?
Hey, I dated a girl one time where they did background checks on me, my friends. It was crazy, man.
It's funny though, isn't it? I mean, I've heard a lot of clients say, "Oh, I made him give me a current medical report," and I'm like, "Oh snap! Now that's a boundary."
Yeah.
And I've had other people say that now they try to do it online, but there were people that actually would hire. There used to be a thing called a private detective, and when I lived in Florida, these little rich bitches, they would hire this private detective because he was in the office building that I was, and he'd come in. He wouldn't talk about his cases, but he'd be like, "Oh boy, I can write a book one day." He said, "I will have to change the names to protect the innocent or not." But he said, "Oh my God!" But he made big money on following somebody, taking pictures, and it was.
It's a natural thing. Mid-90s. Everybody has love in their heart, and nobody trusts it. Which means people. What does that really mean? It means people really don't trust themselves. If you really think about it, it ain't other people you don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a long time, do some transcendental meditation. If you had enough love in your heart, would it matter what other people, you know how the world is? You know, lots of people have love in their heart.
That song.
But if you had
Put a
enough love
little
in your
love in
heart,
your
what could they really do to you?
Right. And if you'll listen to your intuition, which is Cancer, moon, the phases of the moon, high tide, low tide, full moon, new moon, your intuition will say to you, you're at the right place right now with this person that you met. Get out of your head for the future. Get out of your head from the past. And I love that one saying, forgive me for not remembering who it was, but they say today is the gift. That's why it's called the present. Can you really stay? The other thing about as strong as not trusting love, can you really be in the present and just be there, be here now in the present and not have your mind going off 1,000 places? You know, like if your present is that you're going to take that moment of the day to pick up your kids from school or go visit your, someone that matters to you that's elderly, or that you're going to you have to do errands anyway, but you're going to make the Walmart run and the grocery store run fun. Like you're going to start working. Gemini is the spirit of play. Aquarius is revolution. So Mars in Virgo right now, if you lean it mystically, can say, I can give you all the moving parts and the engine and the mechanics of how to get far more creative with the daily grunge of stuff you have to do anyway. Put a skip in your step and a smile in your heart. There's a difference between a smile on somebody's face and the smile from the heart that comes through the eyes.
Yeah.
And that's what Cancer is saying for us to do, the
Maybe
first step of love.
I don't know.
That's okay to be a softie. There's nothing wrong with a softie.
I mean, in the middle, I'm definitely a softie, but
good.
But here's I don't mean it in just, that way. Like, you ever remember when at least I remember going to my grandmother. Now, both of my grandmothers have passed away. So when I think about Cancer energy, I'd go to my grandmother's house and I'd always wonder why. Like, why would I just pass out? I'd just get on the couch and pass out every time I was there. And I slowly started realizing it's not the food. Sometimes I'd go there, I wouldn't eat food. And it's not there's nothing in the air or nothing that she had the same smells in her house all the time. There was something about just knowing that I was completely safe and loved.
That's it.
And I'm saying this as a man. For the rest of you guys that are like, oh, don't be a bit, whatever. You're a fake as hell. You are. Mm-hmm. Anyways. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other story. But
no, it's true. But what you said, you described an atmospheric, safe womb. You were safe. You were in a safe harbor.
When your whole body, this is the kind of relaxation that you have to have an out-of-body experience, by the way. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that kind of relaxation was like, God, just all the stress just leaves your body and you just pass out under your grandma's quilt or whatever. Try to figure out how to be that for other people.
Yeah. Well,
and yourself.
Right. Yeah. And that's a wonderful infinity symbol. Like if you decide that one of my good moments became a good memory, how I would just completely decompress and absolutely just go catatonic, if you will, or like a baby in a womb. I felt totally safe.
That's a good way to say it, like a baby in a womb. Yeah.
Yeah, the couch was, for me, I don't care if it's a lightweight flannel sheet or the little softy furry blankets. I love, and Mom told me you were the kid that carried the blanket. I had to lie to you or get you to fall asleep before I could wash that blanket when you were 5 years old. I still love blankets.
Yeah, so maybe what we're saying, like what you're saying is like, okay,
embryonic.
So for the rest of your life, because like I said, I know the age group of the audience that listens, don't you want to make a home for yourself like that? Mm-hmm. Don't you want to be around people for the rest of your life that give you that feeling? And if you've never had that feeling that I'm talking about, I'm telling you it's 100% real, and you'll know it when you feel it. Like whatever you're doing as a vocation, your friends, like your partners, whatever you're doing, don't you want to have that feeling, that place you can go to, even if it's just yourself all the time? Do you want to spend the next 30 years of your life stressed the hell out? I don't.
And look how quickly you can answer that and say, that's not my authentic self. My authentic self knows better that a partnership is not meant to always just be stress. It's where when your life is going to have high tide, low tide, tides out, tides in, absolutely full moons versus new moons. But when you have that ride or die friend, or you have that companion. I've met a lot of people that have that companion. It might not have been their first marriage or their third relationship, but they learned from their past where they didn't need to be so hard-assed and rigid and whatever, the JS, the judgment, or the blame or the shame, the judgment, the shame, or the blame. But they also decided I'm going to open myself up more. I'm going to risk my vulnerability without expectation, just to say, I don't, if you want to vape or if you want to drink beer, but too much of this or that just isn't me. But you got to be you. I really wanted to see who you are. That's the only way we're going to enjoy who we are, or know that. You talk about the next 30 years. You start looking at the fact of, what do I want to spend my time allotted to me on this planet with? We spend the first part of our life going, I'm too young to drive, or I'm too young to drink, or I can't go, my parents won't let me go on a 4-hour trip. We keep longing for these things that we want to do. Then you do them. And then you start saying, but I really long for the feeling that I had when I was with my ride or die, or, when they got divorced, and that was always fun to hang out with them. And, and the kid grew up, and all those kind of things. The grocery store I loved when I was a kid, the storm tore it down. All those kind of things that are, when they're there, they're there. When they're present, they are a gift. They're a gift. But they're more than just a gift. They're a reference point, a talisman, a magical moment, a memory, the angels, the earth angels, the animals, the Fae kingdom, all speaking to you, saying, feel this. Just take a breath and watch the difference, how you feel when it feels like Grandma's house on the couch, and I said, man, I just wanted to be there because I could be me. I didn't even have to wake up and talk to my grandma. It's just, I was safe, and she knew how to create that atmosphere to where I knew I was safe.
You
and
could be
telepathic.
You, all of it.
Yeah, it's telepathic, it's energetic. Joe had that energy bridge of comfort and safety and non-judgment with that woman. It's real. It may happen for some of you with your grandparents, your neighbor, your best friend at school, the one you let get away romantically. But if and as you experience the energy, it has life, it has validity, and you can cast it and call it forward. Just remember to say, I'm worthy to receive it. That's the Cancerian message. I'm worthy. Aries gives you the fire of desire. Mars in Virgo is saying, this is tangible. This is real. I can give you a real-life example in your life of when this happened to you. Maybe it wasn't your lover and your partner, but it happened. You felt safe with that person. So look at the feeling of that and the reality of that, and know that Aries is here saying, it's a new day. It's a new way, and I'm feeling good.
There's a song, like, how we were talking about, like, there's a lot of dudes that if you get on the internet, and statistically it's happening, a lot of dudes just giving up. They've given up. Men. Not just young men, just dudes just giving up on dating, period. Like, I know lots of people have but statistically it's pretty heavy in the dude department, right? And I see this like pendulum swinging in society when women were actually oppressed, and then they had to fight for their rights, and then the pendulum really swung hard. Now they're all kind of empowered individual stuff, and then you see all these videos coming out like, where are all the real men at,
Yeah.
But like, most dudes just want to be loved and needed. That's it. They want to be able to screw up over and over and over again, still be loved and needed, not treated as an investment, not treated. And if you just trust that, if you just give them that love, if they're a good-hearted person, which I think a lot of people are, they will take care of you. They'll do everything they can to provide and take care of you. But I heard this old like 50s song. It kind of, is it a 50s song, Stand By Me?
I don't know. I don't know if it's 50s or 60s.
That song describes the truth of the heart of a man, and you don't hear that anymore. Like, you just don't hear it anymore. Now everybody's judged based on if they're winning or losing, or if they're alpha, or what's all this other talk or whatever. And you don't even have a shot at being an individual if you're trying to live in that world. But if I turned on the oldies, man, and that 50 song came on, dude, I got a lump in my throat. I was like, I know what he's saying.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, okay, and that's an archetype. That's my point. The Cancer intuitive gave you the archetype of leaning into the lyrics or the song. Like I the other day, one captured me. I didn't even know the lyrics of it. But I've always kind of liked the word abracadabra.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I've studied in Persian and Aramaic and all those terms. I've always liked that abracadabra, you know. And then I like the song came on the radio of Lady Gaga in Aries, who was doing Aries with the Scorpio moon, and she was doing that song, Abra, Abra, da, and she was doing that, and there was no visual. I don't like the video at all. But the song and the energy of it, and I'm like, that's like some kind of wild continental drum beat, electronics, and all that. That's just like wild, you know. And it was, you know, and some of it was just like real guttural noises, ooh rah, ooh rah. I mean, it's just like, you know, like the Marines.
That's not really what I'm talking about. You're of course you're going to talk about how a song makes you feel. But I was talking about that's the woman thing to do. I understand that, but I was talking about like the lyrics of that song. Just go read the lyrics of Stand By Me.
Absolutely.
And if that guy was to sing that song now, and all men are still this way, even the ones on the internet pumping up all the other dudes, telling them to be assholes, right? Like, they're all little kids, by the way. All of you are little kids. You're not fooling me. We're all little kids at heart. None of you fool me.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, like, when he sung that song, that was straight from the heart. And the lyrics talk about the very first verse, and he's speaking to the feminine, I won't be afraid. Well, he's a man. He's not supposed to be afraid. Men get afraid when they're alone, too. Yeah. Not in the same way you do. Not in the physical, like, you know, like, oh, something's going to get me. It's a different fear. You just listen to the song, and then you'll know why. Like, the pendulum's got to stop swinging, man. We got to start balancing this stuff out. And I'm hoping.
I'm voting for common sense, and I like your authenticity and connectivity, but I'm also about common sense and just everybody stop. If you notice a lot of these riots and protests, and whether they claim it's peaceful or not, some are in denial, there's that screaming and there's that raging, and it's like literally it's like when an infant is unsure, it screams and rages because it's primal. It could be primal fear looking like anger.
Yeah.
Or frustration.
That's what it is, really. Yeah, sadness turned to anger.
It's a real. Yeah, it's what it is, and it's like stop thinking about what side you're on. Just look at yourself. Just look at your behaviors. You're hissing, you're pissing, you're fighting, you're destructing, you're raging. You're raging. You're not raving. You're raging, and that's self-entitled to think that you have the right to destroy someone else's anything. You know, anything. It's like, so, you know, I think that with Uranus and Gemini, we'll get the people that write the great speeches and have great witnessing and testimonial stories and the lyrics, you know, the words coming to life. And when you put your breath and your voice and your song to it, when you actually look and get the lyrics to a song and then just allow your voice to, like, sing along with the lyrics and learn it and feel the impact of the sound frequencies. But like Joe said, the lyrics of some songs have to do with the upliftment and the commitment, and it's like, yeah, that right there, that's my archetype. I resonate with those words right there. Who do you remember the artist? I want to hear it after our show. Do you remember the artist of the version of Stand By Me? Do you remember who it was?
Man, that's the original one.
I'll just look that up. The original Stand By Me song.
Yeah, because he's talking about if the land was dark, the moon wasn't in the sky or whatever. Like, he's talking about if the world was ending, I wouldn't be afraid, right? It's Ben E. King, right?
Okay, we need to hear that.
If the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, I won't be afraid, just as long as you stand by me.
That fits with the whole sign of Cancer the Crab, the moon.
Yeah. You don't
embrace.
See any dude saying that on the internet anymore. None.
So you are, and we're talking about that. We're validating for men and the masculine and the yang during this feminine side of the yin, Cancer the Crab, the mother-child, the mother-child reunion, the forming creature in the womb, you know, the couches and the blankets that we have, our favorite sheets, our favorite pillow. Are you kidding me? You know, the favorite temperature in the room, so you feel what? Oh, yeah, all snuggled in. Yeah.
So tomorrow you go out, you treat your cats and your dogs and your children like business assets. See how that works out for you.
That's interesting.
Just see how it works out for you.
I have been guilty of saying I like dogs better than most people. I have been guilty of saying that, so I'm going to own my stuff and say, oh, cool. It'll be nice to meet humans that are like the way I've always had it with dogs and wild deer, and yeah. So we can. I don't care where you think you are, how many paths that you've followed, in the present, in the gift of the now, we can always alchemize. We are the chariot. You know, we are the magician. We are the Madonna. We are the creation, and we were created, and we are creating. And that's what Cancer the Crab is. I can go on the sands of time. I can burrow in the sands of time, and I can also be out to sea. So, and people that love crab meat love crabs. I mean, they love to pull them little legs off and munch away. So there's that tender, water tender, like people that like turtle soup and things. These things that are in these shells. You know, if an oyster has an irritation for long enough, that irritation will become a pearl, and they pry open the shell to try to find the naturally created pearls of wisdom. So there's signs and wonders all around us, and I believe if we just do the homework between this new moon and how we mother ourselves, stop thinking about how you got mothered. How are you mothering yourself? And like Joe said, and how can you be that safe, authoritative, authentic, connecting, compassionate energy as a parental figure, not needing to be somebody's mommy or daddy, but be able to see and celebrate the child you are, the maternal and the paternal energies that you have to protect, to respect, and allow them to bear witness to that, even if they can't do it yet. When people bear witness to the fact, and they say, well, now Mary will light you up. Now, don't start it if you can't finish it, because Mary will tell you right where she's coming from. She won't hide it from you. You'll get authentic. I'm okay with that.
Well,
now,
you should
I'd
be.
have a problem.
After this
and
long.
I would have a problem I get a problem with these metaphysical woo-woos that say authentic means, and since they figured themselves out, now they need to preach to you and teach you. Even in the New Agey woo-woo astrological newbies, it's like, now because of this, you have to act like this, or you're not doing it right. Yeah, okay, bite me. Check yourself. No. The right way is when you're in tune with your heart's eyes and how your heart sees it, and you feel balanced. You feel relief. You feel that you are liberating yourself from former taunts and haunts and temptations. When you can actually, it's palatable, it's somatic, you feel it, you dream it. When you're out under the moon and the stars, it's talking to you telepathically. It's ceremonial, it's meditative, it's prayer. On your knees, genuflect prayer to say, take this from me. I release it. That's the Cancerian womb and the bow. And then, of course, you're not just in the womb. There's that birth canal. There's that surrendering of the old. And everything that was familiar and Lord took you from a seed to a baby and to leave that mother womb. And then you come out into the world and it's a whole new game again.
You're leaving as a baby, too, I hate to tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
The adult body is only for your survival and procreation. The heart and soul of you came into this world as a child, and you will leave it that way. Bald and toothless, more than likely.
And in your birthday suit eventually. So it has a lot to do with, when we bear our souls, even if that person, there's no guarantee, even if that person goes sideways with it or don't tell anybody, don't do that, you still are a person that is going to say, I'm always changing, I'm always open to a better way of being the best version of myself. My goal in this friendship, my goal with the client, my goal is that we are dancing with the best, better versions of ourselves, but we're okay right at this time. Spirit connected you as a friend, as a client, as whatever it is. Spirit connected us at that point, and it fit into that opening ceremonial category. But if with myself, if we, each of us to ourselves, make that authentic commitment to connect as the always forming, always evolving, don't be so strict on yourself if somebody's there and you're here. If I'm committed to the best and better versions of myself, the ride can only be rewarding. It can only be rewarding and a reset and a reboot in the highest of ways, because I like the idea of evolving and growing into the better, best versions of myself. But that will come with not doing some of the same things the same way with the energy patterns that drug you down or that you drug other people down with. You're going to have to break up with that. You're going to have to divorce that, because that's leaving the umbilical cord, in a sense. It nurtured you. It did what it needed to do. You were an addict at that time for a reason. You stole that from that person for a reason. You were fractured. You were broken. You thought other people should hurt besides just you. Whatever it was. This is about, I am going to be committed psychologically to allowing the best and better versions of myself. I think that's one of the cornerstones of valuable intimacy. You know, because so many times I've heard people, Joe, say, well, I didn't say anything because I don't want to lose them, or I didn't want to, you know, they might take it the wrong way, or they might leave me if I tell them that I'm not really into that and they're really into that. They might leave me. I might be alone. There's all
People
those
say
components.
that to you?
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people say to me they stay because they, even though it's not what should be, even though they feel abusive or they feel abused, that they stay in it because they say, at least there's someone in my life, and I have this, even though it's not what I want.
I get
but
it.
I'm more afraid of what might be. And I'm like, why? Because before this person came along, you didn't know what was going to come along then.
No,
Big
I get
place
that.
out there.
Like for a person like myself that's been like, I've been in and out of relationships and I've been alone most of my life. I've slept alone most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do have somebody in my life, I put up with a lot of shit and and I get that, because it's nice not to be alone. But
Right. Gotta have balance.
you got to have courage too, man. Like, you got to have a little
Absolutely.
courage and chance it, because it's way better. Wouldn't it be way better to have the courage to chance it, to be alone, and then finally find that person? And yes, they are out there. Just because you dated 10, 15, 20 people doesn't mean you understand the 2 million
That's
of
right.
that race, because you don't. Right?
You don't.
Like,
That's right.
but wouldn't it be better just to have courage to chance it? At the very least, you can make that grandma feeling home for yourself. And what if you find someone that not only that you're attracted to, intimate with, whatever, but they bring out, like if you're a man, they bring out the masculine in you. If you're a woman, you feel safe to be feminine, or whatever it is. Like, wouldn't it be better just to take that chance instead of just saying, oh, I give up. I've dated 20 people and they're all this way. And it's like, you can't, like, if there's 2 million of anything and you take 20 out of that, you're not an expert.
Right.
Yeah. Now you're not even an expert if you dated 1 million people. You're not an expert at it. Right.
No,
So you don't know
because
shit.
it's
There's
all
all
relative.
kinds of different people out there, man. All kinds.
And I tell you, there'll be some people that you will have an absolutely fabulous intellectual compatibility with. Like, it's like the minds dance, you know, the minds dance. There'll be other people that you hang out with, and you're on jet skis or motorcycles or fast cars or horses, and you take trips together and all that, and they're your adrenaline jumpers. You know, it's just like, man, I
Adrenaline
get charged
jumpers.
up when we do things. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then there's going to be the people that it's just like, yeah, when I want to recharge myself, when I want, they get it. When I can be alone with them, but I'm not alone. Like when you've got that person that you don't have to feel like you've got to entertain or make sure it's okay, that you
Yeah.
actually can be in that apartment together or in that car together, and it's just like, man, this is nice. We can just cruise and we can just hang, and nobody's got to make a point to win. Yeah. Those are
like
some
we have to
special
go out
people.
into the world, and the world's tougher and tougher. And the more we come together and connect authentically and like deeply and authentically, the better it's going to get for us. That's the only way to. I'm going to get really nerdy on you, right? If you've seen the Lord of the Rings, haven't you, Mary? Come on, the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. So there's Gandalf the wizard, right? Gandalf the wizard asked, or lady, whatever her name is, the elf. I always remembered this. She asked him, says, why did you pick the Hobbit? Why the halfling? Out of all the people to carry that ring and destroy that evil power, why the halfling? And he tells her, he said, a lot of people think you have to fight power when it comes to fighting evil. He said, but I don't find that. It's the little things, the little kind acts, the small things in life, the comforts of home, the unconditional love feeling where you can just totally be yourself. And those little things are truly what combat evil. The rest of it's all bullshit. It's just adding on to it. And I feel
And
that
that's
way.
a perfect description of cancer. It's the fourth sign. It's the home and the hearth. Home is where your heart is. And for a lot of people in life, there's been brokenness and fractures. They didn't feel like, they felt their home life was broken. So their goal in relationships will be, I want to have a peaceful home. If there was bickering, I want to have a peaceful home. There's a lot of people I've talked to that they're with the same partner for a long time to have kids, but they say, I'm never getting married. I'll
Who
find the
cares?
DNA,
Don't get
that's my
married
baby.
then. Whatever makes you feel at home.
but I'm not,
who cares?
Right, but I'm not getting married. And if their partner's okay with that, then that's fine. But I mean, they've got a thing from their childhood that one parent or another said, and that became their truth. So that's kind of another way of saying, choose your beliefs and your truths wisely whenever Jupiter changes signs. And it stays in a sign about a year. So now it's telling us, do we have potentially some self-destructive patterns or psychological dynamics that have outlived their time, and it's okay with these Aries planets to emerge with some of however long we've walked this planet thus far. We've learned some things, we've got some wisdoms, some things we've learned the hard way, but now we can start out and we can say, okay, now I'm bringing the new stuff, the other power medicines I have, and I'm going to course correct I'm responsible for correcting my inappropriate behaviors and actions. So, I mean, for me, that's a big enough job for me to just keep course correcting myself. It's just like, yeah, okay. So, I mean, I understand what a job that is, and it's exciting because you start to see levels of yourself emerge that once were held back that give you so much more of a flow of manifestation. You're able to read the signs of the times, and it's not even a deck of cards anymore. It's just like there's 12 signs. I know when the sun, the stars lighten up those signs, and yep, this is good for me to focus on this aspect of my behavior or my life right now. Like Joe was talking about chances, we start to actually join hands and dance with chance when the sun gets into Leo.
Yeah, you start living in fear.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little bit of faith in yourself and a little bit of faith in spirit and in God and people, because whether you believe it or not, there's like all these tarot. There's a million. You've seen them too, Mary. There's a million tarot videos out there. It's like, yeah, you're the chosen one, and these people, they're getting their karma, and they're suffering because they did you wrong. They ain't suffering. They're happy. They screwed you over, and they're happy. Like, get over it. But
yeah, it was like
even in those people, and inside of everybody, somewhere, most people, I'd say most people, is a good person that just wants
absolutely
love, comfort, and a little bit of happiness in life. And it's like, it ain't hard. It's the programs that make it bullshit. I could go on about this, but a lot of it has to do with money.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's not natural. Like, our bodies are designed to do certain things, and when money came into the picture, it screwed everything up.
Well, and that's why biblically it's not money itself, but it's the love of money that's deemed as the root of all evil. Biblically, it's the love of money, not money. It's the love of money when you actually go back and check the scripture. And so it has to do with, we're ascribing to and making, if you will, using some old language here, an idol of sorts, a false idol of sorts,
yep,
over the things and our toys and our bank accounts, and how we can go out there with the big dollar erection or credit cards or whatever it is and live to him. Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
got
saying.
a lot of money, so I'm more of a man. It's like,
no, it's
you're
a
a man
stronghold
because
of the
you have
mind.
muscles, probably, hopefully, and if you
Exactly.
don't, whatever, and you have a penis, that's what makes you a man.
Yeah, well, and at
Not
the same
money
time,
in your pocket.
Right, but it's different levels of insecurity. So what someone doesn't realize is they're really trying to strive to be that kind of an archetype of, like, I will be the father figure, I will be the provider, I can be a father figure. So someone that's a child that needs their love is going to come. Yeah, that's right. Or a guy that's a really strong guy. He's physically very strong, but he really needs, even if it's a younger woman, he really needs that girl that will pet him and mother him and brush his hair and give him a bath and tell him, you're my baby.
I've never had a
There's a
woman
love
brush
in
my
that.
hair before. That'd be nice.
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when you've had Middle Eastern past lives. And then
Most of the women in my life have just told me how I'm not man enough. Then none of them's really taking the time to brush my hair. You don't have enough money. You don't have a house. You know, you cry too much. You know,
That's okay.
whatever.
You don't know how to
like,
brush my hair.
yeah. I mean, we all have to go through our own suffering sometimes
Absolutely.
to authenticate. But I think when you get to a certain point in life, you're like, all right, enough of the bullshit.
Right. Absolutely. And it's like,
Time to come
you know,
home.
some people say, I hate it when people say it is what it is, but there is something to the Buddhist, you know, acceptance of truth of like, if you can start with looking at what's right in front of you, that you got a bowl of vanilla ice cream, you can see it, you can taste it, you learned the language, that's what it is. I'm going to eat this bowl of vanilla ice cream. I love it. It feels good. It's like a treat. It's a comfort thing. I like the bowl of ice cream. I like it. So it becomes resonantly, it's a reality for you. You did it. You did that for yourself. You know that was just an enjoyable experience. It wasn't that you had to go buy 10 gallons of ice cream and eat them all in 2 days. That would be somewhat of an addiction, somewhat of emotional eating. So what's happening is, I guess for the month of Cancer, how I'd sum that up with, let's do it with food, because it's good with cancers. It rules the stomach and the digestive, the breast and all that. So we'll finish with the food, so like Taurus. So with cancers, it's like, if you would just, you don't have to do it tonight. You can do it on replay with yourself. It's mainly that you get the answer yourself. If you, at this point in 2025, would pick a dessert that you are, if I would get to be a dessert, and that would be
that's a good one.
Yeah. What would it be? So we can talk about that when we come to Leo, when it's showtime.
I want to know what everybody's desserts are. You know?
What dessert would you choose to be? Right, it's your choice. What dessert? Yeah, and you may have a favorite dessert of Mexican flan, but that you love that, but that may not be the dessert that you would show up yourself to be, and it might be one and the same. But it's a good little Cancerian thing because it's comfort food and comfort culture, and when you know you're connecting with God, the peace prayers and all of that, when you know that your intuition is like, game on, bitch, nice, it's flowing. I mean, Cancer is this is your absolute best time of the year to be working with your dreams, to be processing whatever you're doing in therapy, and to try different colors and how they feel on you energetically, and be around some form of water, like your favorite bottled water, or, really doing meditations in the shower, or that inexpensive Dr. Teal's Epsom salt bath. And I'm not being endorsed by Dr. Teal's, although I would accept that because I love Dr. Teal's. So if you can do something to where coconut oil is your skin moisturizer. Good God, people, you can cook with it. You can use it as a sensual lube. You can, whiten your teeth with it, and it helps to get rid of bacteria in your mouth. It's good for your animals, your dogs and cats, as you were talking about, Joe. It's the best kind of oil, the MC2 multi-chain triglyceride oils. I mean, it's really, really good for you. Yeah, hair conditioner, all that. You save a lot of money. Just get the coconut oil. Yeah, so there's ways you can be thrifty under a Cancer sun sign, because Cancer is about getting the bargain, especially food in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Cancer sun will take a second look at what's on sale in here today. Am I going to Food City? Am I going to Ingles, Publix? Am I going to go to Costco, BJ's? What am I going to do? So, yeah, Cancer is about, I'm a crab, and I want to put some stuff away. I want to get my supplies in there. SpongeBob SquarePants.
We got a few Cancer moon babies here in the house, too, not just Cancer sun signs.
The best, most potent place for the moon. Now, are you going to have challenges with that? Yes, but it's the most intuitive placement of the moon. If they can keep a nice monitor on 0 to 60, how fast, if they can keep a nice monitor on letting their insecurities or their assumptions of that person did this or that, and if they can get that into control, then it's absolutely a wonderful, wonderful intuitive psychic antenna, that Cancer moon. Yeah.
Mary, you're the best. You still are
Thank
the
you,
best.
Joe.
You're simply the best, Mary.
Simply the best. Thank you, Tina Turner. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm going to go hear that song. See, I like the homework that Joe gave us, and so I know at a new moon things that come up.
It doesn't have to be a man thing, but I will say, like, if you're one of these women I keep hearing from or seeing that are like, where are all the good men? And it's like, well, we're done with the business transactions.
Right here. Yeah. Well, we're good men.
We're
good men.
When you have somebody that stands by you, whether you're a man or a woman, no matter
Yep.
how much you fall, fail, whatever. Like, I understand that in relationships, it's funny. I say this to this day. We don't treat our kids, our cats, even our friends this way, but our intimate partners, the person that we're unloading even things we don't share with our friends, and yet we're treating them, which that you would think that would be like a higher level of, like priority if you're going to expose this much of yourself to someone, and yet we're treating each other like, again, I'm going to say it, used cars. Do you have an air conditioner? I don't know. Like, well, the AC just keeps going out in this one. Jesus, like, I don't know if I can deal with the AC. It's like the AC just keeps going, and I got to take it to the shop. I help it along. But the AC just keeps, and I just can't do it anymore. I need a car with AC. Okay, well, then you need a car with AC. That is a business transaction.
Right.
That's what that is. That's not what you think it is. And that's what you have to understand, too. I don't blame everybody for being this way, but we've been deeply programmed to be this way.
We have been programmed. Listen, we have been programmed. And if you wanted to go to the sinister, deep state, off-planet, la, 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 dark versus light, your soul and the soul connections and your from the heart, from the soul heart and congruency feelings are what AI isn't. They can write it, they can type it, but it's just always been fascinating to me that no matter how much high tech happens, why is it that there's old legends and myths and current things about soul snatchers and the battle between light and dark is to get your soul? And it's like, it's not up for sale.
I'm not saying take abuse. Like, if your car is running you off the road and smashing you into a wall all the time, you go get a new car, but like.
Absolutely. And sometimes there's a passage of time that happens and a few bridges to cross. But in this season, I still want to hear the song I'm going to do that, because that's like that's our song totem.
Yeah. I'll play it at the end of the show.
Good. That's our song. I feel like that's our song therapy, our lyric teaching, our lyrical teaching. And cancer has to do with, even the old, and I think he's pretty sure that there was a singer named Cat Stevens, and I believe he was born under the sign of Cancer. And one of his most famous songs was I'm Being Followed by a Moon Shadow.
I love that song.
And the other one was something to do with like father and son. It's a beautiful Cat Stevens song. But
Cats in the Cradle?
This moon. No, that's the other guy. No. Cat Stevens, still the same artist. Cat Stevens did another song that had to do with the honor of his father, which is Capricorn, or the patriarch, where Cancer is the sign of the mother and the matriarchal energy. So this right now, all of us, regardless of our sign, the Cancerian sign in your star wheel has to do with what you're willing to give birth to, what you're wanting to conceive, and new life is now ignited, Aries, in your creative oven, your bodies, your wombs, the womb of desires, the cave of ideas, and the launch pad, the top of the plateau of your aspirations. Cancer is about the seed got planted, and now it's growing, and it's growing life. So my finish to this would be, what is it that you want to let grow and blossom and bloom and take off and be something that you're just loving being a part of the creation of that, because that's what Creator felt with you and I.
Oh.
Yep.
I love you, Mary. You're the best.
Thank you, Joe.
And guys, like, when's the next one? Do you have the next one picked out already?
Yeah, July 24th.
You guys,
that's the Leo one.
Have a happy 4th of July, and just take care of each other. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. That's the best thing to do, I think. And we'll see you next time. Sorry the phones weren't working, but I think we got the point. Across.
From the inside out, that's Cancer the Crab. The inside out, we gave them some things that they could think on and feel, because they didn't have that automatic, let me get my cell phone out and take a call and get a reading. I've always said from the beginning, whether I've done in-station radio shows or podcasts, Spirit, Joe and I can plan. Spirit will decide how it's going to go. And Spirit said, you'll think. I said, there's not going to be calls tonight. I said, there's some stuff that needs to get out here. But we'll have lots of calls for the Leo show, and we will allow it to happen.
Thank
you for your time, your donations, and your faith. And Joe, thank you, brother. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Let's see if I can. There we go. There
Thanks,
it
Joe.
is.
Good night.
Night now, y'all.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling,